people are really gonna watch this?
They ain't got nothing else to do.
Right?
Word.
I ain't going on social media talking shit about TDS radio. I know that much.
My man, Coach Block.
What's up, cuz? How we living?
You're rocking with TDS Radio.
Get it, Kim. All right. She got a vision, and she wants us to execute this vision.
Ooh, man. That's what TDS is about today.
Ken and Kim are the two dopest siblings that I know.
All right, man. You ready?
Am I ready? Are they ready? What's up? It's your man, Coach Block, one half of TDS Radio, and I'm here with.
You're growing so fast. Hey, y'all.
And today is Wednesday, one of the worst days in the world.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man. Wednesday's tough because it's not quite Thursday and it definitely ain't Friday.
I just see it as though I'm halfway there. We're almost there.
Yeah, I guess so. Today, I
got your peanuts?
Yeah, I got some peanuts today because I haven't been eating candy. What happened to your peanuts?
All gone.
We just talked about this yesterday, didn't we? So today, I said before I wasn't going to start the show off as grumbly grew. So today is the praise report. The praise report is, I'll make a graphic for it too, so that we can make it kind of fun and funny. But the good thing that happened today is I didn't lose my job. So yay. Because I promise you right now, the more and more I work with other people's children, the more and more I realize that there needs to be a public forum you can expose other people's children.
In what sort of way?
So that parents can see how their children act.
Understandable.
I think there should be cameras in the classroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Because parents need to see how their children act.
Yeah.
And then now we can eliminate the fact of people unnecessarily defending their children when they're dead wrong.
Right.
That stuff is getting on my nerves.
I still feel like some parents will find a way to justify their behavior.
Of course, because the kids don't take accountability because they don't see the parents take accountability.
Exactly.
So it continues and it just spirals. And it's sad, man. I mean, I promise you it's sad. Today, I had 2 encounters with young men that you're just like, man, there can't be a man in your life. And if there is a man in your life, he's not doing a great job.
But do you think that possibly you're experiencing this because it's coming off the heels of the men's conference and you know that there's a need for it? So it's just a continual message of you're needed?
You mean spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like that, though.
Okay.
It's just my patience for it is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe the patience inside of me is so bad that it's kind of like forcing me to say, okay, now it's time to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I tell you I don't have patience for it,
right?
I literally watched a young man today go through multiple phases of manipulation just so he didn't do his work. And when I called it out that this is what he was doing, he was cool. Like, okay, I'll do my work. Started doing his work. Then when the enabling people who really don't necessarily hold his feet to the fire the same way came in, he changed back into that person.
Mm-hmm.
Once that person then left the classroom,
he was cool again.
He turned back and did his work again.
What are we doing?
But then when you have these type of engagements and encounters with kids inside of school, then you have to realize that there's a person who doesn't necessarily fit the job descriptions that are specifically given by schools. This person is able to work with kids in a way that may be a little unconventional. Let me cook, as they say. They ain't let me cook, man. And it bothers me every day that I'm not cooking because more and more kids, you're just looking at it like,
well, what do you feel is the fear?
of letting me cook.
Mhm.
Because you have to, there are people who get paid to diagnose these kids with issues.
Mhm.
And then here you come working with a kid saying, "No, I don't believe that." And then you show them that that's not necessarily true. Well, people got, there was checks that was issued, and there are checks that are issued because of this behavior.
Yeah.
So here you go saying, "Nah, I'm the Dr. Sabi of schools."
Mhm.
They don't like that. And this is what I do. Like,
But if this is what I'm having to deal with on a continual basis, then this is what you get.
get out of my face.
Yeah.
So, with that, like I said, yeah, it's a need, and I got to start this plight. But the first thing to start it with is men. Calling all men. Our children are in this condition because of us. I don't want to hear nothing about no women. I don't want to hear nothing about no single moms. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I just don't. They're in this condition because of us. Now, the thing is, me, especially a father who does not live with his other two children, you need assistance to make it work. If you don't get that type of assistance, then that's when we have to figure out advocacy to be able to assist those who need assistance. But once again, still not pointing a finger across the way, but just working in a way that makes it achievable to reach the desired goal without having to consistently get into these emotional drag out arguments, which are so, when I see these boys arguing like that, and I'm not saying that they're not allowed to have their feelings. It's just, we articulate it different, and we should articulate it different so that there's a differentiation. When we start doing that, then you'll start to see a difference in other people in the culture. But when we act like everybody else, but then expect to be treated differently, that is insanity. I don't understand that. You want to be treated like a man, but act like a woman. Wow. I don't understand that. And once again, it's not a slight to women. It's just at some point in time, emotionally, somebody got to have emotional intelligence to be able to control what's going on. And if we are the ones that are better equipped to do that faster, then all I'm asking is, why isn't it happening? Well, because 9 times out of 10, there's no examples, or very few examples that are respected. And that's the difference. There are men out there doing it, but you got to get the young men to respect the men who are doing it, because that's not what's promoted. It's promoted to do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And because that is the narrative for men at this current time, that's what you see these little boys fall under.
And you probably won't get to it, maybe not until this weekend, but I would love to hear your take on the Netflix limited series Adolescence, because a lot of what you're talking about is displayed in that show, just about a father figure and how he decided to raise his boy and some of the things that he said when he expressed certain interest in things and how he handled it. And then ultimately with him raising him a certain type of way, how this boy, came to be. And, I'm not going to give away too much, but essentially the story is about a 13-year-old boy that commits murder. But the reasonings for why he commits murder, you see unfold in the 4 episodes. And you even just see like his personality and how he switches from just being a casual 13-year-old having conversation to his anger. And then seeing where that anger is stemmed from, of him just not being able to have any sort of control over his feelings, or being able to, have these feelings or have anyone to talk to, because the father is just very much like, get over it. It's very dialogue heavy. I'll say that. So you might want to spend some time when you've had some sleep, because you have to actually listen to the conversations that are being had.
I'll never be able to watch it.
You have to listen to the conversations that are being had. But the the 3rd episode to me was really important, because you see the 13-year-old boy sitting there in a room with a psychologist who's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And she's asking him specific questions, and his answers were off the wall. But a lot of it has to do with his upbringing. But I think it's a really, really good show to watch. And, like I said, get your feedback on.
All right, I'll try maybe over this weekend. I don't have anything specific lined up this weekend, so maybe I'll try that. Because I do feel as though it's time. Like it's definitely time. And I do have a crew of young men or a mixture of young and older men right now. We're in a group chat and guys are like ready to roll. Because we all feel the same way. And it's just I'm just so tired of the representation of men being questioned at every single turn. And then you don't have it. It's not any better than when you got dads going to prom with their sons in half dresses and half suits. I don't have a problem with a father who wants to support their child. But there's a line. We consistently compromise that. And then now it's like, well, why don't anybody respect me? No, because you constantly compromise. At some point in time, it has to be like, nah, I'm gonna put my foot down. Well, you ain't that's cool. That's good. That's cool. That's cool. I'm with that. I'm with that. But I can love you and support you without having to engage with all that. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a firm believer, and I said this at the men's conference, love who you love. I'm not a person to tell you who to and who not to love. But I am also a person that can tell you that standing where I'm standing, here's my option. Because everybody else tells you their options. You know, if you are, a person who loves, or you're in the community and you love who you love, there is no shortage of expression that way. So then in turn, there should be no shortage of expression for men. But people think that when men express these things, it's toxic. It's not toxic. I don't understand toxic masculinity. I just understand assholes. And that's on both sides of the fence, because when women exemplify the same behaviors as a toxic man, what do we call it?
Feminist.
Wow. Whoa.
It is. It's now a derogatory term. Like if you decide to do certain things, or if you want to be all gung ho and all stuff, like you're now deemed a feminist, and it's unfortunately not something that is positive anymore.
I don't think but see, that's the culture changing what a feminist is now. And I think once again, that's not fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with people to the true definition of being a feminist.
Oh no, not at all.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? And that's where, the word plays on things that are a bit, it's challenging. Like I said, and I don't want anybody to, I'm not a person to spew hate or anything. I am just okay with people being proud of who they are, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. You get what I'm saying? Like, so when we talk about like Nazis and race, white supremacy and things like that. What?
Where are you going with this?
No, what I'm saying, like when you talk about like white supremacists, that's supremacy. That is like the extreme. You get what I'm saying? Like we're proud of ourselves. Okay, but that doesn't mean you got to hang me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about everything. You can show your pride and stay in your lane. When you're asking people to cross over lanes and compromise what they feel, and then if they don't do it, they're wrong. That's where I have a problem.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? I have no problem when people from other cultures express their pride. I have none. Like, it does not bother me. I don't feel like I need to be included. None of that. Enjoy yourself. I have a problem when people make it seem like when we do it, it's an issue or a problem. So then I'll take it down to gender. I have no problem with women expressing themselves however they would like to express themselves. I have a problem when we do it, it's derogatory, it's sassy, it's this, it's that. That's where I start to draw the line, because nobody dictates how you express things. I'm saying that a lot of these young men don't know how to express themselves based upon masculine energy. They base themselves upon a more feminine energy of proving right, wrong, emotions. I feel it's not fair. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand their logic and where they get it from. And today I tried to talk to the young men about that. Explain who told you that life was fair. Because I never heard it. Never heard it. And a young brother asked me a question that had to be direct. And I would like to ask you how you would answer this question. He said, Coach, I got a question. Is it true that black people just don't get a second chance?
In what way?
Because he said he was watching a TV show and the dialogue of whatever he was watching, the character said, we don't get a second chance as black people.
Mm.
And he said it was a question that he wanted to ask somebody. Do black people get a second chance? Now, the truth is rarely.
Well, and it's funny because I was having this conversation with Kayla about like the whole Jonathan Majors thing.
Mhm.
And we all know what's going on with him. We know that he dropped a movie, Magazine Dreams. We know that he's on a press tour. And we also know what has happened between him and his ex-girlfriend, Jabari.
Mhm.
And we also know that he's not invited back to Marvel, despite the rumors and all stuff like that. He's not coming back. He's not going to be Kang anymore. But we have allowed Jeremy Ritter to come back, which I didn't even realize that he had a trouble past. But we've also allowed Robert
Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. to come back, despite what he has been through. And I'm like, unfortunately, as a black man, or black people, sometimes you don't get that second chance.
Right.
Because even though charges were dropped, everything like that, he still doesn't get to come back to Marvel in any sort of capacity.
Correct.
At all.
Yes.
And then his movie also tanked because people were like, well, we just don't like you now. Like I told her, I said, my problem with him now is him being so overly performative with Megan Good. Like that to me is just cringy. And the fact that you ran to a black woman when you were in trouble, that's my issue. But I don't understand why we can't give him a second chance. I want to see his movie. I think it's going to be actually pretty good.
The weightlifting, bodybuilding one?
Yes. Who's on the spectrum and he's trying to navigate through his world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should play that part well. He should. An in-shape brother on the spectrum is right up his lane. That's like the dude from Atlanta that we say plays the same role. And
Lakeith.
This is a definite Lakeith type of situation. He should not have to act too hard for this role.
No, that's not nice. Because he did a good job in Creed.
Chugga, chugga. Remember that dance.
Sidebar. Jonathan Major gives me, I have never gotten any play in my life. And now that I'm getting noticed, I don't know how to act. That's what he gives me.
He gives me autism. Man, just like I told the brother today. Hey, man, all my life, from the time I graduated, even to today, I have dealt with people with autism. I have seen every single level. I've seen I've seen really severe, where now you just all that type of stuff. Seen that, to highly functional. You go to great colleges, but you're still on the spectrum. I've seen both. I've seen the extreme.
What was the first one?
You know who that was. You know who I were. He came to the house.
Don't bring me in.
You've seen him. He had a crush on you at the barbecue. You don't remember him?
You know I do.
Okay.
Continue, nigga.
so I've seen autism on every level. And it makes me mad that people don't accept it because they deem it as such a scarlet letter, a negative. And we all are on the spectrum.
Yes.
So
but what about Jonathan Major Gibbs? He's on the spectrum to you.
You didn't see that dance?
I saw Black Boy Joy.
I saw autism. You don't see when he smiles, you be like, Yep, there it is. Yep.
I'm tired of you. What is
I know Michael B. Jordan had a hard ass time with that movie. Like, man, focus. Every time he smiles, what the hell?
I saw Black Boy Joy.
Because Okay, I'll say it this way. Have you ever really met an angry autistic person? I haven't.
No, only when they're not understood.
Exactly.
Yes.
But for the most
Mhm.
part, most of the time when somebody is severely autistic, they are in good spirits because they live in their head.
Oh no, they do.
I've already told you you're autistic. You just don't want to accept it.
Oh my god. What?
We all have our things. The way Kia is about kinks in the sexual world is the way I am about autism in the mental world, in the mental space. We all have a thing.
Do I have a thing? What's my thing?
You can completely disassociate yourself in a room full of people and go into your own world as if nobody else is there. That's
Be tired of niggas.
That's not normal.
How is that not? Cause you get tired of niggas, and it's just like, you know what? Off.
It's not normal.
I'm not doing this with
That's
y'all
not
today.
normal.
Turn it off.
And that is a form of autism. To be able to, everybody's moving around you, and you're like, la 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 la, tailspin, oh yeah, tailspin. That is.
The other day I was singing SpongeBob. I was like, it's all about you, girl.
See, my daughter does. My daughter Yara has a full conversation and laughs at herself before she goes to sleep.
I know that's because she enjoys her. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
It is what it is.
I know that's right. That's right, boo. She said that is normal. Ignore the whole room, and that's called protecting your energy. Exactly. Bye.
No. You're not able. No, it's not. But then the other side is being so taken over by a room that you can't focus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other part.
Mm-hmm.
So noise canceling earphones is nothing new. People who suffered from severe autism before have been given earphones to block things out forever.
What?
Noise canceling headphones is nothing new. That's something that in the world of mental health that has been given to autistic kids forever.
And they're the greatest things on this earth. I'm like, I ain't gotta listen to shit. Let me just boop, and I'm in my own world.
Okay.
What? Whatever.
Yeah. Like, so we're just on we're just on that scene, but that's been going on for a long time. They used to be real big and clunky. Remember the earphones back in the day when you had to take the ear test and you couldn't hear anything but the those were noise canceling headphones.
What? Those were amazing. Give me some of those. And now everybody's walking around with them damn Apple heads.
looking like they got the damn ear testing joints on, looking stupid.
Sensory rooms at stadiums.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because you get overwhelmed. Bean, you know what I'm talking about.
She said it is, and I understand. Thank you, Bean. Just block it out. I'm tired of niggas. Let me go into my own world.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it's just.
But see, I always thought that was a trauma response. Like when it's just like you're overstimulated or something is triggering, and then you just shut down.
It can be viewed as that as well. Yeah. It's all going to go into understanding why you do it, like what triggers you to do it.
I hate people.
Yeah. So coping skills are a problem. What are we talking about?
I'll tune someone out.
Yeah. I mean, we all do it,
but
to a degree.
Go back to Jonathan Majors. So because of the way he was dancing and the way he smiles, that's a clear
Like, okay.
But you don't think he's a good actor?
With special needs, yeah. Even in Lovecraft Country, I was always looking at him like something's not right. Something ain't right. Cause with the the Juicy Smollett sister
Journey,
you could tell like something wasn't right in how they were supposed to be engaged. I'm like, okay, maybe he's just getting into this role, and it's just it's sci-fi, and
Well, how did he do his Kang, y'all? Because I
he
did not
did
watch.
well. You know why? Because Kang has multiple personalities.
Oh, that's his thing. I don't know anything
There's
about it.
multiple Kangs. Kangs has his own universe.
Oh,
So like in this, how like Rick and Morty has the multiverse where there's a whole bunch of Ricks and a whole bunch of Mortys.
Mhm.
That's how Kang is.
Oh.
So you got to watch the actual the series that they have on what is that, Disney Plus?
Mhm.
And then you can see him as the multiple Kangs. And what we were leading to is Kang in a movie.
Oh, so he lost a huge deal. Then.
Oh, he lost he was supposed to be the next biggest villain. He was supposed to be worse than Thanos.
Oh.
Because Kang in the comics is worse than Thanos.
Yikes.
Because Kang lives in multiple universes.
So he just destroys shit all the time.
All the time.
Well, to your student's point, then yeah, unfortunately you don't get second chances.
No.
Or they're very rare. And I mean, that's why we're always being told to work twice as hard, because we don't get these opportunities, or you don't get a second chance. So it's just like you got to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. So unfortunately, no, good sir, you don't.
You got to know how to play the game. If you don't have the proper advocacy, you're not going to get a second chance. Will Smith is still searching for his second chance after slapping Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have the proper advocacy when you're black. When you're white, the advocacies own everything. All the advocates own whatever it is. So they're going to find a way to make a way. We don't own enough for second chances. And then we don't trust each other enough to give second chances. So that's kind of where the problem comes in with just having the idea of like second chances for black people. And if we owned more and treated each other better, I think we would get second chances more often. But we treat each other so expendable and we're on to the next that those who are viewing feel that way. Like if we said we're not watching another Disney movie until you put him back, he would be back. But because we're like, meh, move on to the next, then that's what happens.
Just won't let him be great. Will you?
No, Jonathan Majors is I'm not a fan of him. Like, I don't dislike him, but I'm just not a fan.
And I mean, like I said, a lot of us have written him off as well, because I don't see too many people saying that they're going to go support the movie. So because
I don't think this movie has come from left field.
Well, I mean,
it's a true story.
Yes,
but it what?
There's been talks about it. So there was talks about how he got casted for it, and that they were going to drop it and stuff like that. But you know what?
When he smiles like that, I'd be like, his mom got a check early.
All right. All right.
Where are we at with the comments before we go to our guest?
Jay said that's why he's perfect for Kang. He has autism background.
Right.
Yay, I'm a Marvel nerd. Well, y'all gonna have to keep me up, because I try to keep up with Marvel, but I really don't have any idea what the hell is going on. Like, I don't even know what Doomsday is about.
Well, see, I have a problem with Doomsday, and I won't get into it because we have a guest, and I am like a Marvel nerd, because they gave Robert Downey Jr. the next villain. And somehow they're going to have to tie this in, because you're going to ask people to see Robert Downey Jr. as something different than Iron Man,
right?
Which I don't understand how they're going to do that. But I'm interested to see, because he's Iron Man. But he's also exemplifies our point of a dude who gets not 1, 2, or 3 chances. He's on 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Same thing with the dude that used to be on two men and whatever.
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
Yes. So he's gotten multiple chances. So is Jonathan Majors as bad as either one of them? Absolutely not.
No.
But and then also Jonathan Majors is this. We're still in the world that you can't do things to white women and expect to be on Disney.
There you have it.
Now,
that'll do it.
I'm just going to call a spade a spade.
That'll do it.
Now, if he threw a sister in the car, they'd have been like, nah,
And
Isn't that what you do to your women? Like, and he would have been right on there. They would have gave him an extra movie in Disney. But you threw a white woman. He knew right then and there when he ran down the alleyway, it was over.
Mhm.
He should have just got on his knees and started crying. Like, God damn, it's over. You threw a white woman in a car, and she didn't suffer any major damages. It was just, we seen it.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Cassie was getting beat by Puffy for how long on video? See what I'm saying? And
they're
Puffy
willing to
was
give him a
still
second
making
chance.
he was still making music.
Mhm.
They hid the tape. You see what I'm saying? Somebody actually viewed the tape of Cassie getting hit in that hallway in the hotel. Somebody was like, and he continued to make music. Jonathan Majors threw a woman who was trying to scratch him in the face back in the car.
And then ran away.
From her. He's running away from her. Nigga, you're done.
I'm gonna watch the movie. So anybody else wants to watch Magazine Dreams and review it, because I'm here for the plot.
So he has to go get
know.
a role of an autistic bodybuilder
And,
to
we know
work his
what.
way back in. No different than Will having to play a slave after slapping Chris. Ain't that some shit? You slap Chris, now you got to be a slave. There are no second chances for Negroes.
We have a guess.
We have a guess.
Yes.
We have a guess. I'm
Because
sorry.
you'll get into it. We have a guess.
I'm sorry. So to answer the kids' questions, if you're watching, hell no, you're doomed. You mess up once, it's over. That's it. Now, I'm not in school right now. I can say what I need to say. Duke-a-baka. Y'all see Jonathan Majors. Y'all know he
I
ain't
just saw Black Boy
right in the
Joy.
head.
I saw Black Boy Joy.
Every movie he do that same smile. Okay, so we have a guest. Every movie. You be like, man, do it hurt, nigga? Damn. We have a guest.
Yes, stay
I'm
with it.
focused.
Stay with
I'm
it. Stay
focused.
with
We
it.
have a guest.
Stay with it.
So as you guys know, we are having our own version of Def Comedy Jam, which is called Top Secret Stand Up, and we are filming it here at a disclosed or not. We're not disclosing the location yet. We're just saying the vault. Anybody who knows. But if you don't know, then you'll find out, because when you purchase your ticket, you will get an access code into the building. We're going to give you everything when you access this. So we have been interviewing the comedians that will be performing. So we have done Victoria McGraw, we have done Tico de Gallo, and now we have Miss Sheryll Wade coming up. Hold on, there she goes. Hey, how you doing?
What's up, y'all?
How you?
I am good. I didn't know what I was walking into. Y'all sound real fun.
I had to stop him because he was going to go
I
crazy.
was about to go in.
Listen, I should have. Man, I'm mad. I don't have a drink right now. This looks like a good time.
Yeah, definitely have a drink.
Yeah.
You can come back. There's always opportunity for fun and laughter when you talk about the Civ, especially when we start talking about these crazy ass celebrities.
Yes, and we definitely believe in having libation.
Yeah.
Right.
So without giving us too much about everything, just tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll go into some fun stuff about just comedy and the world. But just tell us who you are and all that good stuff.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So my name's Sheryll Wade. I'm a realtor. I'm a mom of 3. And I just started doing comedy. I actually just hit a year. So I'm probably one of the newest. I'm probably definitely the newest comic on your lineup. I'm super excited about it.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah.
So what got you into the comedy lane? Because you said you're 1 year in. So what caused you to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a stab at this?
Man, a midlife crisis. I turned 40 and I was like, man, this is not life. So got off the hamster wheel, quit my job, made a list of goals, made a bucket list, and just started tackling everything on the list. Taking a comedy class was one of those things. And I took a comedy class, like, just to do it, just to say I crossed it off the bucket list, and fell in love with it. Had no idea I would. Yeah.
Okay. So then now when you took the class, did it go into like writing? What is your comedy style? Are you more like, I just tell experience and make it funny, or do you actually have a setup and the knockdown?
Wow, that's a good question. No, I write. It's my approach is mainly from being a mom, being frustrated from being a mom. So it's really
Mm.
easy to write. I write
Yeah.
something every day. It just comes natural, and I think that's why it's so why it's perceived so well, because it's like I feel like every mom could relate to what I gotta
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
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 Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, who are some of the people that you see and they influence you in the comedy world, or
Ooh.
even just actors?
Okay. You know what? I don't know. I gravitate more to men because
Mhm.
there's not a lot of female comedians, but of course Kevin Hart, of course Dave Chappelle. Um, I like some more. I like some more. I
Mhm.
love her mouth. Um, and just the local scene here, just with me being new, all the comics that are here. Are just super supportive, man. So like
Mhm.
it's just been dope to meet other local comics, giving advice and sharing what they have to say.
And
Cool.
that
Go
was
ahead.
going to be one of my questions in regards to support, because being a newcomer on the scene where people have been doing this for a very, very long time, sometimes there can be a level of intimidation or
Yeah.
even jealousy, especially if somebody who's new comes on the scene and everybody is just yuck, 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 yuck. So you haven't really experienced that at all?
I haven't. And I've heard that too, but man, I'm so blessed to have not experienced that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So then with influences, you got some people that, inspire you. But I got a question that I thought about that was pretty cool. If you could roast somebody specifically, like let's say you were at a roast and you got the opportunity to roast a celebrity,
Well, we know who you picking.
who would it be?
I got to roast a celebrity. Oh man.
Like who's
That's a
somebody that just gets on your nerves that's in the light where you're like, you just grind my damn gears.
I guess the Kardashians.
Mm.
Yeah. I respect their hustle. They're hustling, but like it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I know that's
I get it.
right.
All of
I
them.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So do you have a significant other? Are you single? Does comedy go into your relationships, dating world, things like that? Or is it just a complete separate line where that's me when I'm on stage, but this is me when I'm dating or
Yeah.
with your significant other?
Yeah. Going through a separation right now, and that's yeah, going through a separation.
Mhm, mhm.
That's a whole lot of fun. It's just
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I know.
And I guess that would be the other thing that I would have to ask you. Being a mother, like you said, going through a midlife crisis and
Yeah.
a current separation. How has comedy helped you to make sure that you
Man,
could still smile?
I I don't know how I would have made it through last year without comedy, really. It's
Mm.
been my outlet. Um, you know, when you just go to work, go home, take care of the kids, go to work, go home, take care of the kids.
Mhm,
It's you need something, and
Yeah,
mhm.
comedy has definitely been that for me.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how many rooms have you performed in? And then tell us one that you're just like, this room sucked and why it sucked.
You said? What
Like,
did
tell
you
me
say?
how many like comedy rooms you've been
Yeah.
in where you're like, this room sucks, the energy sucks. Like, what's a bad room for you when you go in to do your show?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Y'all, man, y'all making me think. Now I've performed in a lot of rooms because I'm just trying to get out there, just trying to get better,
Mhm.
being new,
Mhm.
trying to perfect it. So I go out a lot. I wouldn't say a specific room sucks, but like I think bars are hard
Mhm.
Mhm,
because they're really not there to see you. They're there to
Mhm.
drink. And
Mhm.
mhm.
so it's like you gotta win them over. And
Okay.
so I'd say that's the hardest, but I like doing it because I feel like if I win them over, you know, someone in the audience may not know, but that's a big win for me because I know, you know, they weren't there for me versus someone that bought a ticket or came to a show, like they knew what they were coming for.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this, because I found this to be unique, and I didn't even tell my sister Kim. When I am putting out the different posts and we're creating like the detailed audience that you wanted to send in, there is a specific lane that says Black comedy. And at first I didn't know how to feel about that, because to me, comedy is comedy. So how do you feel when the tag is Black comedy versus just comedy?
There's definitely Black comedy and regular comedy. Or I don't know if you want to call it regular, but there's definitely like Black comedy, white comedy. There's mature comedy. There's different levels of comedy for sure. Yeah. So yeah,
Now,
don't feel no type of way about it. It's definitely a genre.
now does your style cover multiple genres, or do you find yourself as, I'm a Black comic, like I'm gonna give you this Black experience?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like I'm mixed. I'm Black and Asian. I'm Black and Filipino. But I'd say I cater more to the Black audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then where does your muse come from? Like, so when you're setting up, like, is it from watching like what's going on currently, or do you have tales? Because now, being biracial, I'm sure there's some tales where there's some cultural conflicts that you can make people laugh with. So what is your muse?
Man, it's all tales. It's all real life. It's all dealing with the kids, dealing with my mom getting older, visiting family and the interactions that we have. Like everything is like based on real life. And I don't know, that's why it's so easy to write. I feel like that's why it's so relatable. But yeah, everything's real. There's no fake stuff here.
And let me ask you this, when, just starting off new, oftentimes people get, jitters on stage. They get kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what type of crowd you're going to get. You don't know if there's going to be hecklers. You just don't know. And then just being a human being I have to be on stage in front of people and perform. How do you, first of all, do you get the jitters? And then how do you get rid of them?
Definitely. I definitely get the jitters. And what helps with that is shots. Shots. I'm not even playing, like shots before you go on stage to just like loosen you up.
Right.
Because I'm telling like real stories that happen at home. It's just like I get up there, I take a shot, I get on stage, and I just really just talk about what happened, and it's like I'm talking to my friends. But no, I've never praise God, I never had a heckler yet. But I think the worst thing that's happened to me is crickets. And it's crazy because like you'll go one place and you'll do a joke and you'll kill it. Then you'll go somewhere else, you'll do the same joke, and it's just not received the same way. And you just can't take it to heart. You just got to be confident in you got to be confident in your material. And I don't know, just keep pushing.
I know that's right.
So with you having your sets and being new to the scene, are you worried about somebody in the stands watching and saying that's a good joke, and then next thing you know, you see your joke somewhere that you're like, here y'all go?
Yeah, I actually yeah, no, it's happened. But the cool thing is, and I think I was watching Tico's interview.
Oh. Where'd you go? She's still there. I think that was her phone. Hopefully your phone didn't die.
It may have.
Oh man. Okay, so Jonathan Majors.
Leave that man alone.
Are you still with us, Sheryll?
Leave that man. And I think you're good with questions. I have a treat.
Sheryll, where you at? Where'd you go? Come back to us whenever you get back. We're here. We're here. Come back to us.
Gosh.
Oh, she left.
It's like, damn.
Sheryll, Come back. That was a dope interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
That appeared that phone died.
Yeah, I think it died.
So yeah, we were talking about
Leave Jonathan Majors
autism and
alone.
all that prior to her coming on, and you know,
Leave him alone. You know what isn't funny?
I'm like, man, his smile hurts. Damn. What wasn't funny?
Leave that man alone.
Okay.
There are now people who are walking around doing the whole pop the balloon challenge to actual people. Like, there's a group of guys who had balloons. They walked up to these two young ladies, popped the balloons. Here she goes.
There she goes. Man, got us looking bad out here, Sheryl.
Man.
We steady talking to you. You gone.
Girl, bye.
My bad. I was talking too. I was like, what happened? I'm sorry. No, but you were asking, what was the question? I had a really good answer.
So I was asking you about jokes being stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Comics could have the same material. I think I was referencing. I saw Tico's interview to where
that's where you were at.
where he was saying, everyone has similar jokes because it's, but it's the way you deliver it that makes it yours. So I mean, I have seen where someone took my joke and kind of put their little spin on it, and I'm like, yo, that's my joke, but
Right.
they don't. It's not delivered the same, and that's what makes you special as a comic. You have to find your delivery and your lane, and just keep working at that and keep polishing that.
So it's our honor to be able to actually film this and be able to put this on
I'm so excited.
streaming platforms and things like that. And that's the reason why I guess I asked the question to all the comics, because the one thing I heard is sometimes comics don't necessarily want their stuff out there before they're ready, because then somebody will hoist it and you're like, man, I ain't even perfected yet. You know what I mean? So you know, that was something that I was a little concerned about.
And that's also a question I have as well. Like, when you do hear someone who had taken your joke, do you confront them or do you just let it go and be like, it's just a part of the game?
Well, I'm new, but I've only seen it once. I've seen I'm not gonna put his name out there, but it's a dude who stole my joke. You know who you are. You stole my joke. But no, I actually let it go because it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It's like you took a mom joke and tried to turn it into a dad joke, and it just it wasn't it, boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's corny. And at least give credit. Like, yo, I heard this joke, bop, whatever, and then you can get into it. But that's corny. Petty me, I probably would have to approach you and be like, yo, why you take my stuff?
Right.
Yeah, no, but it definitely happens.
So what's one of the most unexpected things at this point that's happened to you on stage? So you got up there and you're like, I was not expecting this.
I don't expect to like kill it because I'm there and I'm just myself. I'm just telling stories about the kids, and again, it's an outlet for me. So it's just I do it for fun.
Yeah.
So when I get someone to like approach me and say, man, I thought I was the only one that felt that way, and they're like, you really I really like your comedy. Can I follow you? Can I see where you're performing? That to me is like, what? I'm just I can't believe like people follow me and like want to come to my shows. That's amazing.
That's what's up. So then on your vision board for comedy, where do you see yourself? Like, what's your goal? Or is this just something where you're like, you know what? I just started therapy until I feel like doing something different. Like, what's your end game for comedy?
Really, it's therapy. I haven't thought that far ahead as to what the end game is. Right now it's just therapy.
That's good. That's good. Now, how do you balance this as a mom? Because there's a switch, right? Because you're a mom, you're also a realtor. Like, these are so many different facets.
I know.
So how do you have the switch to be able to go, okay, now I'm in the comedy mind to even sit down and write because being a mom at home,
Yeah.
when do you get the time to sit and even get ready for your shows? How do you balance all this?
I mean, really, I'm writing all the time. There's open mic comedies like every day of the week. So when I can, I go drop in and I practice what I write.
Mhm.
So no, there's time I can fit it in.
Okay.
No, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now, has any of your family ever approached you like, number one, I've heard that joke and I don't appreciate that? Or have you told them up the front, like, girl, you gonna be in my next stand-up?
Yeah. It's mainly my kids, so they don't even know. They have no idea right now. But my mom, she's in a couple of my jokes, and when I sent it to her, she was like, I had no idea you were this funny. She said,
Aw.
she's like, this is crazy, and keep going and keep making fun of me, keep putting me in your jokes. So
Oh, that's so
yeah,
sweet.
it
That
is.
is awesome. That's
That's great.
awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
when we're talking about like the laughter part of it, and then also I guess it coming from a dark place, how do
Yeah.
you separate from all of this though, and what do you do to take time just for you? Or have you even started that part of taking time just for you while you're going through your journey?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but comedy is the time for me. Like I
Okay.
said, it's therapy. Gets me out the house. It gets me away from the kids. So
Mhm.
that is my my me time, really.
Is there a
Yeah.
different feel of audience from Raleigh and Durham? Because Kim and I
There
have
is.
experienced that there's a huge difference of
There
like when we
is.
do events
I'm not
between
gonna
Raleigh
lie
and
to
Durham.
you.
So tell us
Yeah.
about your experience of what the difference is between Raleigh and Durham and just the feel.
Okay. Well, Durham is way looser, freer, I guess more liberal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Raleigh in certain places I can't throw as many cuss words as I would like. I could cuss at this show that y'all doing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I found a lot in Raleigh, like they tell you to keep it clean or clean it up a little bit, or so I'm like, man, okay,
Nah,
Raleigh.
this is like I said, this is our version of Def Comedy Jam. You come
That's
up,
great.
you speak it exactly how you want to speak it because we want it to be as raw as possible, meaning just be we want the comedians to be themselves on stage. We don't want anybody to have to censor themselves for.
We don't censor ourselves.
I was about to say, because if you watch if you ever get a chance to watch our podcast all the way through, we don't censor it. So
absolutely not.
there ain't no way in the world I would have a comedian go up there and have to watch what they're saying. Nah.
Just let it fly.
Well, speaking of watching what they're saying, then let's ask this question. How do you feel about cancel culture then? Is that a thing in your mind, or you're like, nah, I'm gonna say what I gotta say?
I say what I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
I have this joke about kids with autism, and I know, and like it's so funny because going back to the Raleigh Durham thing, in Durham, it's taken in so well, and I did it somewhere in Raleigh. Raleigh takes it sometimes, but I went somewhere and someone was just so absolutely offended by it, and I don't know. I guess you got to just keep in mind people's feelings, because maybe someone does have an autistic child. I have a child that has ADHD, and his friends are autistic. So, I mean, that's where the joke came from. But I guess that was a learning experience for me to maybe be mindful of, I don't know, how other people would perceive that.
And see this, yes, come on, lip gloss.
I was just about to say, are we divaing it up on air? Jesus.
I had to put some gloves on. What?
Yeah. I said what I said.
We are divaing it up on air live.
Little gloss.
Come on. And I guess that's the discussion. Of course, with all of the comedians that I would love to be able to have, of just like, when people make jokes, people just don't know how to just take the joke and roll with it. Like, I do understand that, some people do have children that are on the spectrum or special needs and stuff like that. But you are going to have moments where you're going to laugh. Like, you're only human. Like when somebody falls down the damn steps, yes, it's funny. And I'm going to make fun of you. So where is that shift? Like, what happened to where people just can't take jokes anymore and everyone's just so sensitive?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. Like I just think the more people prioritize self over community, that's when it happens. Because if you get into a community and you just look at what the community is made of, you have to laugh.
Yeah.
Because to be functional in this world, if you take everything seriously, you're not gonna make it.
No.
So it's like some of this stuff you gotta laugh at, but everybody thinks that whatever they're going through is priority in the community, and it's like that's why you take things so personally.
Yeah.
And don't be around me with it, because I promise you I'm gonna make jokes. I'm not a comedian, but I'm gonna make jokes. So then let me ask you, did you always have this underlining thing, now that you look back on yourself, because you're just starting comedy now, but are you looking back at times thinking like, there was times when I was cracking jokes and that people were actually digging it, or I do have a lighter spirit about me where I should have started this a long time ago?
Yeah. I mean, friends would tell me I'm funny and tell me to do it. And I'm just like, I was in corporate America and just didn't think that was a career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That didn't think about it. Didn't consider making content or making money from it. But until I had that midlife crisis meltdown.
Okay.
And but no, it was there. It was there the whole time.
Yeah.
I just ignored it.
Yeah. That's dope. Now, today is usually Healing Wednesday, and we have our CBD consultant, Varnar Spencer, coming in. She's the only She's the only Black woman in the state of North Carolina licensed to sell CBD products. And so, with you saying mental health, speak about how important it is, like especially when you're going through something like a midlife crisis, trying to figure it out. Could you just speak to how important it is to have that outlet to be able to release while you're going through?
Definitely. So along with that midlife crisis and, me getting a hobby for myself, which is comedy. I did start seeing a therapist, and I wish more people would do that.
Right.
Especially if you have a job with health insurance, like that's usually 100% covered, and just something that people don't think about. Like, take advantage of it. Just talk to somebody. Don't pour all your problems on your friends or your family. Like, throw it on somebody else. That's what they're that's what they're paid for.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because when you pour it on someone that you grew up with all the time, it's usually the same perspective as you. So when you throw it on someone that doesn't know you, they usually shed some light to show a different outlook that you would never see, to get you thinking. And I don't know, therapy has definitely helped. And comedy to me is a form of therapy. So get some therapy, y'all.
Thank you.
Get some therapy.
Especially these niggas on these dating apps. Go to therapy.
Please go.
So our last question, what can we expect from you on this show, and what are we going to see when you hit that stage?
All right. First of all, I'm gonna wear something nice. I'm gonna be looking nice. I'm gonna have the gloss. But I'm a ranter. I just like complaining. I complain. I talk about my kids. I talk about why I hate everything. So it's so you'll get a miserable mess.
Yes, we can all relate.
That. We need you back for that. That's a segment. Miserable mess. That's a segment.
Yes.
That's what's up. So look, everybody, please make sure you come and grab your tickets. They're still on sale. We only got one VIP table left. Folks, do not wait till the last minute. You're going to be pissed because it's going to sell out. So we only got one VIP table left. The show is, here goes the graphic, bang, top secret stand up. We will be here April 12th, 8 o'clock. It starts at 8 o'clock. We have a rooftop mixer prior to it
Meow.
starting. And everybody can get their drinks and relax and chill out. We got Sheryll Wade, Kiera Benson, Victoria McGraw as our host, and Tico DeGallo, who will also be in the building. Tickets are only $35. We ain't gonna break your bank. Make sure you come check us out. And be
damn.
Where'd you go? Be on
Well,
time,
damn.
people. Please be on time because we are filming this show live. Well, we're filming it to stream it. So we can't have you walking in front of the cameras and all that stuff on the late tip. We cannot have that. That'll be bad. So you're going to have to wait until the next comic comes on. So that means that you'll probably end up missing somebody's set. So I would strongly advise be on time.
Period.
And
All
point
right.
blank. So sure, I'm sorry that you ended up blanking
girl.
out so that you couldn't give us our last words, but come on back to the show. We make sure we'll take care of you. Thank you. And we got our healing consultant today. It is Healing Wednesday, and she's in the building. She's standing right there. So we're going to change gears real quick, get her in here so she ain't walking across and all that stuff, and then we're going to get right back to you. This is TDS Radio. Hold on. TDS Radio, our voice.
Don't go nowhere, niggas.
Yeah, don't go nowhere. TDS Radio, our voice, our culture. What's up? How's
Oh, I
everybody
guess I
doing?
coulda
Huh?
Turned it a little bit more.
What's up? No, you're fine. You have to
Yes.
turn Varna's mic up.
Oh, that's right. Which one? There we go. Yes. Say something, Ms. Varna.
I give him a check.
Yes.
Yeah, we checking about my
Okay,
hair,
good.
and this thing gonna mess behind me.
Nope, that's not
What are we
it.
talking about?
That's
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. How's everybody? We're back. As you
Put
can
it
see
on.
to my left, to your right, we have the healing
Yes.
consultant,
Yes.
the most
hello.
elegant Miss Varna Spencer herself,
Mhm.
Thank you.
aka on TV. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How
Good
are
to see
you?
A little tired, but I'm here.
Same, but you know what? I'm faking it till I make it.
Let's
I
do
know
it.
That's right.
Yeah, I had some I was drinking. I was doing my drink drops on the drive in.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay,
Woo,
Hello.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
let's do it.
People getting on your nerves at work? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I did on my
Mhm.
drive. You know, because I have like an hour and a half drive.
Oh,
You know, from to work. I mean,
Yeah.
from work, and I was like, "Whoo, sweet baby Jesus,
Yeah.
let me just do some drops." I said, "I gotta go see my favorite little duo here." I said, "So let me do some dropping
No, that's right.
and drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot."
Yes, and bring it
Yes.
down because I don't know what has been going on with people at work, but they've been tripping. They've
Yes,
been tripping
absolutely.
for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. I just thought it was me.
Yeah, no.
I'm like,
no,
You know,
no.
was it life be life? And
I-
it's life, and
That's
I got
about
to stop this immediately.
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 There are 3 people at my job that I didn't had to get together already, and I'm like, who's next?
Yeah,
Mm.
because I'm there.
Yeah, we're there now.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And you know
ready.
what kills me about that is when people get you to that point, then now they want to start tiptoeing. Is everything okay? No,
No,
it's not
no.
okay because you done got me here now.
Yeah.
So now you got to deal with
So
this
let's
person.
get this smoke.
You know,
Yeah.
just saying.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying. You know, good.
Yes. You know, I got to be different, and I'm like, why we got to be different? Why making me different?
Exactly.
But it's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay. Because every now and again you got to make the trip.
Hello.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what in the world?
Some peanuts.
Okay.
It's time for the show.
Okay.
Because you two get going. I'll just sit here and eat some
Oh, really?
peanuts
Seriously?
and drink some water.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
All right. Okay.
I'm here,
All right.
guys.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, because
not here
last
to-
time we went on a whole tangent about hygiene. That was crazy.
It was, wasn't it? It was. I don't even know what that was about. But
People are nasty. That's what it
True.
was about.
to that.
I
To that.
told y'all.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
What?
I
What?
see it. No,
Yeah.
I see it. Especially with them little boys.
Oh, I
It's
know.
gross.
I
Totally
know.
gross.
Which, by the way, have you watched the show The Pit yet?
Yes.
No.
You watched it?
Well, yeah, you know I have.
You haven't watched it?
Mm-mm.
It's probably one of them because I used to be a trauma ED nurse.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah. University Hospital, San
that
Antonio,
is
Texas.
insane.
It is
Watching that
insane.
show has given me so much anxiety. And if that's even somewhat close to what you guys have
It's more realistic
experienced,
than anything else I've seen.
crazy. Ain't no way.
Oh yeah, I learned how to defend myself
Insane.
yeah.
Insane. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's a new show
Yeah.
on HBO Max called The Pit, where it takes a look into the lives of a trauma center. It is filmed in Pittsburgh and, of course, a soundstage in LA, but majority of it is Pittsburgh at Allegheny General. The main guy is Noah. I think his name is Noah Wilder. Is that his name?
Yeah, something like that.
He was from ER. He's an executive producer, and he is literally what would his role be?
He's probably chief. What is he? He's chief attending.
Yes, chief
So,
attending. And
pit
you're
boss.
just seeing how he is navigating all of these different things. And the show is just taking place in one day. Like when you watch the episodes, it's not like, oh, next week. No, it goes hour by hour by hour by hour. And every
Yes.
hour is something.
Yes.
And it just leaves you on a cliffhanger every single time.
Mhm.
And like I said, just watching, because I had no idea how a trauma center operated.
Oh God.
So
yes.
in watching the show, I'm like, my anxiety is at an all-time high. Like,
Yeah.
how are you operating at
Honey.
such a high level
Yeah.
when things are coming at you like this?
Mhm.
because it's an adrenaline rush. I mean, from the time you walk in the door, it's the stories I could tell about working at a trauma
Mhm.
center and
That's
ED.
insane.
Oh, Yeah, it is. It's just organized chaos.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
everybody has a role. Everybody knows
Mhm.
what their role is.
Mhm.
But it is continuous, and it is patience in the hallway. It is,
Yes.
and it is that. It is giving out. You had your regulars who, like the little lady in the wheelchair.
I want
You
to
have
push
your
her down the
regulars.
damn hallway. Move.
No, you have your regulars, and you do exactly that. You park them in the corner, and you give them the little box meal, and you're like, stay here.
Yes.
You give them the paper scrubs, and you're like, okay, is this this is just meal and shower.
Insane.
And you yes,
insane.
It is.
I will
That's
have
crazy.
to say, if you haven't watched it, if you're a fan of medical dramas, like you said, this is probably the most realistic one thus far. It's a really good show. Like I said, your anxiety will be at all time high, but I love the fact that he is teaching, but he's also going through his own things, and then even the people that he is, the attendees and the residents and stuff like that, everybody's going through their own thing and navigating throughout the day. It's just a crazy, insane look of what happens there. Really good show. I do think come award season is going to be them, Severance, and Paradise, where they're going to be battling out to see who's going to win. But I do think The Pit right now and Severance are probably going to be the top TV shows that are going to go home with awards.
Yeah, I have to agree.
It's phenomenal writing. But
Pitt gave me flashbacks.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what while y'all talking, I'm thinking like a lot of that I don't know if I want to see. The first time I ever, as a working in the ER, it blew I was frozen the first day. That's when I've seen real CPR. Not CPR that you learn.
Yes.
I heard ribs cracking and breaking and shit. It was wild.
It is wild.
You see blood splattering on
Yes.
walls. It's like, yo.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I literally froze. And there was a brother who was a nurse, which I thought he was pretty cool. Tony, shout out to Tony. If you ever watch any of this, Tony kept me in the game. He's like, yo, you gotta shake it off. I'm like, huh?
Shake it off.
Yeah.
Because once these people get done doing whatever they're doing in the room, that room needs to be clean. Somebody needs that bed.
That's
we
right.
we gotta get smoking, baby.
Yeah.
You do not have time to sit there stuck.
Insane.
No, I mean, you literally have, your maintenance people there, like right there.
Yeah.
And they are ready for you to move that patient over, and they are cleaning. They are mopping and cleaning.
Insane.
Because you got another trauma coming in.
It's
just, it's
wild.
It's a cycle.
When I knew that I couldn't, I wasn't built for this. When that pregnant woman came in and that baby was coming out and he said, I'm going to have to stick my hand. I said, you're going to do what now?
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Oh yeah. Cause you try
no
your
way.
darndest to, it's just, I mean, it was realistic because, you call upstairs and you try to get your L&D nurses down there, and sometimes they make it and sometimes they don't. You be like, oh, keep those legs closed, boo boo.
Yeah.
Let me just get you up to.
If Yara was
but
coming.
if you can't do it,
Yara was coming in the elevator.
Yara
was coming in the elevator.
If they're not gonna make it upstairs, you got to deliver a baby.
And then just the different things that they're using, like, oh, just give me this, whatever. I don't know the terminology. I don't know how they do it, but then you're sticking holes and he's drilling. I said, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's putting an IO in.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening? No.
It's an IV. I mean,
it's phenomenal show. If you guys are not watching it, please. I mean, if it's your thing, I understand if it's not your thing, because it is pretty graphic. You see a lot on the show. But if that is something that you're just like, I'm looking for good TV, it's really good TV, good storytelling, good writing. I don't give poor recommendations. So I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for something on TV, Severance, Paradise, and The Pit are all winners.
I think so. But the Pit is it's probably the most realistic from my own experience. Because it can be it's a lot more graphic, a lot more blood, a lot more graphic, a lot more violence. To be honest with you,
no, ma'am,
it's a lot more violence.
I commend,
but it is.
I commend anyone who worked in there's no. I'm not built for that. No way. No way.
Oh yeah. I started with my orientation class was 11 of us nurses. By 12 o'clock, it was 6 of us because they were like, I'm not doing this.
No.
And then to make it through, I think it was 4 of us that made it through the whole orientation period. And we all stayed for a little while, but it's no joke.
Ooh.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. Just like our messy letter.
Yeah, I'm a old ED shock trauma nurse.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, I gotta give it to you. Ain't no way. I can't do it.
Which is why I do what I do now.
I know that's right.
So I do well up under high stress situations. It's a
Whew.
profile thing.
Whew. Bless your heart.
Well, you have to learn to compartmentalize, and it's not personal. People hitting you,
Mhm.
people kicking you, people biting you, people. It ain't personal.
Insane. There's no way.
Yeah, but you learn how
no
to
way.
get back too.
No, that's right.
I mean, or you learn how
Yeah.
to dot. You know how to bob and weave.
Yeah.
You learn how to bob and weave. Yeah, it's a true story. Get back. Yeah, it's
Holding
a true
people
story.
in ways that
Holding people down.
Oh.
yelling for help. I've seen
Yeah,
that too.
it's
Like something can be going on in another room. You hear, yeah, help. Next thing you know, because you got to hold people down who may be going through different emotional states.
Yes.
Yeah.
all of our aides and techs and attendants look like this.
Yeah.
I know.
That's why they put me down there first.
It looked like they look like him.
I'm like, yo. When I first got done, they were like, yeah, you're going downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm going downstairs. They're like, yeah. But then like it was like a running joke as if like you're going downstairs. And then the wild part about it was, and this was just my experience, when it's downtime, it's downtime. But when shit hit, it hit. You're like one after another after another. Like, is everybody
Yes.
Yeah, but in trauma, in truly a level trauma center, there is no
There's
downtime.
no downtime.
No, because I'm like, the
Your whole
show
shift is that
started
way.
at what, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
We're now at, hour 6. I think that's the episode that premiered last week. So this week will be hour 7. And I'm just like, it's still fucking going. Stop.
It's going and it doesn't stop
No.
even when you're off shift. And I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't stop, which is why back in my day, because I worked night shift. So
Ooh.
yeah, we had our supervisor, bless his heart, Jim. Shout out to Jim. He'd be like, "Y'all, we're going to choir practice," and we'd be like, and for a newbie, you didn't know what that was, but it wasn't until you went through orientation, and he would say, "Come on, you get to go to choir practice with." I said, "It ain't Sunday, and it's 7 a.m." And choir practice was down the street at the Margarita Bar.
I know that's
and
right.
He bought rounds for all.
I know
of
that's
us.
right. And
Rounds of
you
food.
need that. You need that. Y'all need so much for dealing with that bullshit. And then not only that, you have the people in the waiting room. So that's the other thing that you see on the show. The people in the waiting room, where it's just like there's an earache. It's not much, but they're just being fucking annoying. And you have somebody in the back who literally has their jugular severed, and you're trying to deal with that. And someone's talking about, oh, I have an ear infection. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
We got to deal with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you do it all. If you're a nurse, you do it all. You're in all stations. Peds, trauma. I mean, you do it all. Peds, trauma's purple. If you're assigned to purple, if you're assigned to emergency psych, that's always fun because you're gonna have about 5 or 6 of these young
we
men
gotta
like
hold
here,
people down.
Crazy.
escorting you.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, because they taking them down. I mean, it's in the hallway. People.
Cops bringing people in shot in
Oh, yeah.
handcuffs because then you got to handcuff them to the bed.
And at every department, so you have state, local, and federal.
Insane.
Yeah, and they're all there. So don't get me wrong. I mean, if stuff go down, because it does. Some psych patient tries to grab a police and grab his gun, and you're in lockdown, and I mean, it's wild. It's wild. If you
ain't no way.
It's wild.
It's not for the faint of heart.
When I tell you, after watching that show, I need some of your drops because my heart. I'm like, my heart is racing because it's just as soon as it comes on.
Some of my drops back in the day.
It's just and it's been nonstop. So I mean, like I said, I think they were ordered for 15 episodes. They've already been renewed for a second season after I think the third episode aired. So it's been highly, rated. Everyone is loving this show. So if you're someone like me that likes to binge watch, wait for it to finish. We only got a couple more weeks because I think we're on episode maybe 13 or something like that now, or 11. Either way, wait for it to watch and then just watch it all the way through because they leave you on a cliffhanger every single time. And the moment where you're just like, you got to be kidding me, credits start rolling. It's a phenomenal show. And you see everything from drug abuse to sexual assault to, critical patients to shootings. Like it's insane, but really good show. Like I said, I wouldn't steer y'all wrong. So if you're looking for something to watch The Pit.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, it's probably one of the most realistic medical dramas that I've seen more to my experience.
Definitely, it's not Grey's Anatomy. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It is not. No,
not in
like, and there are no McDreamies. There's
no, not at all.
And
not
it's
at
down
all.
and dirty.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. And they even have a young lady on the show who plays a doctor that has autism, and she's the sweetest.
Oh, I
little
know.
cute. She's just so
She is.
cute.
Just
Yeah.
cancer.
Mhm.
She's adorable.
Yeah. Mhm.
You would, you know what? You know, just get some of my drops and
tune in.
yeah, a Friday afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday afternoon.
Or a drink.
drops,
Or
yeah,
both.
Or both. You can do both. Why limit yourself?
Right. I mean, because that's my Sunday
Why-
program, and I'm
why
like, I'll
limit
wait until
yourself?
Sunday for the pit so I can sit
Uh-huh.
and be fully immersed in it. Because you just
Mhm.
know that the shit is coming.
Yeah, it's happening. It's
Mhm.
down. But
Mhm.
yeah, honey. Yeah, I thought y'all knew that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm a
I mean, he did. I had no idea because I
Yeah.
stay clear
Yeah.
away from stuff
Yeah.
like that.
ED shock trauma nurse.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That's why I had to learn how to draw blood,
Mm-mm.
because down there we were short staffed. It's all hands on deck. So if they tell you got to go draw something, I had to go draw.
Absolutely not. No.
While we hold the limb down,
Vice
vice versa.
Absolutely.
Hold it down. Just stick something.
I would not make it. There's no
Uh-huh.
way. There's no way.
So who's
No.
on this letter?
Well, this letter's coming in hot. So if you guys are ready, it's time for the messy letter.
Sorry. Yeah,
Now it's time for
the messy letter.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so she's coming in hot. You're not even getting
here we
any
go.
intro or nothing. It's just 6 months in. Next month, found out in year 2 he has cheated multiple times with multiple women. Even went on a trip with one of them. Chose to forgive, which was my biggest regret ever. Now we live together and have an 8-month-old baby. Right before I moved in, I was around 6 months pregnant. I saw that he had been sending sexual messages to other women, even inviting them over to his house. Says that he was just talking shit. Made me look at him completely different, and I started to be cold towards him. 6 months postpartum, I began coming back around, only to see that he went out with another woman, a coworker. Exchanged pleasantries with her afterwards and said that he was looking forward to doing it again. I told him to block her, only to find out 3 weeks later he was back talking to her. What is life? He swears up and down that he wants us to be a family. He doesn't want another broken home, and that he loves me, but it honestly doesn't feel like it anymore. I've made multiple threats to leave, but I don't know why it's so hard to do so. I think it's the baby keeping me here. What are your thoughts?
So many. Wow. Well, that's a lot.
A lot.
You know, I feel like a broken record in saying that, you know, you can take care of yourself
Mhm.
and these babies.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just feel like sometimes that no is a complete sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be all encompassing. There's just nothing about this is healthy.
No.
There's nothing about this
No.
is healthy.
Mm-mm.
And I don't understand, you know, sweetheart, why you're doing this. I don't
No.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No.
I'm a little confused by the math here because she said 6 months in next month, and you found out in year 2 that he has been cheating multiple times. So that means that 4 more years you've been dealing with this.
I don't understand that.
No, I don't know if it's 4 years.
She said 6 years in next month and found out in year 2
Yeah.
he has
Oh,
cheated
okay.
multiple times with multiple women. So after year 2, you just stayed for 4 years and you keep dealing with this?
This
Yes.
is not love.
Nah.
It's not. I mean, this is
And had a child.
Yeah, because the child is recent. The child is only 8 months old, you
Mhm.
know. So what's going on here, baby girl?
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach.
So stupid answers or stupid questions get stupid answers. And everything that you're getting is exactly what you've accepted and allowed, because nothing has been hidden. You've seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in time, the hurt that you are enduring is self-inflicted because you're not choosing you, you're choosing the situation for whatever the reason may be.
Well, she said he keeps saying that he wants to have a family with her. He doesn't want to create another broken
And
home.
he keeps saying things to other women and sleeping with them too.
He actually does have a family, her and the baby.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that doesn't mean that a family doesn't mean that he gets to be abusive,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and it doesn't mean that he gets to be disrespectful,
Mhm.
dismissive, and uncaring. And because this nothing about this is love.
No.
No.
No parts of this
No.
is love.
No.
So yeah. And I mean, my man is having his cake and eating it too, because you're sitting there. So, what do you expect? What is she expecting change from a person who showed exactly who they are?
Well, I guess so, because she said that he swears up and down that he wants us to be a family. He doesn't want another broken home, and that he loves me. But honestly, it doesn't feel like it. I've made multiple threats to leave, but I don't know why it's so hard to do so. I think the baby is keeping me here.
It's not the baby.
It's not the baby.
No,
That's no.
it's not the baby.
Not the
either.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
It is whatever else he may provide. The dream, the dangling the carrot, whatever that is that you slightly believe in is what's keeping you there. It's definitely not the child.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can take
It's
that
not
off
the child.
the
It's
take
not
that
the
off.
child.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not
so
That's an
not the
excuse.
kid.
nah.
Mm-hmm.
The baby's an excuse for her to stay
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because she's using that child as an excuse for her to stay. But it's not the child.
No, not the child.
It's
Mm.
not the
Take
child.
that off the table.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
So what I will put on there is, depending on age, sometimes it's the, he's still my man, y'all hoes,
Gross.
this, he come home to me, you know how the
Okay.
song goes, he's mine.
You may have had him once.
Yeah, all that dumb
Mm.
stuff,
Mhm.
all that super deluxe eyelash stuff. I see her and I see her.
Okay.
I see this woman in my head.
Which we'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
today.
I see her in my
'Cause
head.
that was.
There's a vision of this woman in my
Of
head.
the one that's writing the letter.
Yeah.
What's the vision?
She looks like Sexy Red.
I knew you were
Oh
going to
my
say that. I knew it.
Wow.
This is Sexy Red conversation.
Really?
Absolutely.
You think so?
I know so. Because look at the period that we're talking about dealing with this.
Yeah.
And drama fuels a lot of people, man.
It does.
Yeah. People can live off of it.
Yeah, you can look that. So when you're talking about 6 years that you've been
Mhm,
dealing with this
mhm,
nonsense, and a
mhm.
solid 4 of
Yeah.
your knowing that you've dealt with,
Mhm.
there a part of you likes this. You're
Yeah.
writing a letter so that you can have somebody either co-sign what
Mhm.
or somebody that gets behind you and then they cheer you on for a minute only for you to go back to the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
she needs the conversation that I got from my mother. You'll know when it's time to leave. You ain't ready. Shut up. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You've accepted it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why would you say that? Because you haven't left.
You haven't,
You haven't left.
Because
Yeah.
what will be the straw
Yes,
that
yeah.
breaks the camel's back? This man went on a trip with a woman.
Well,
he's-
that's,
Like he's cheating with coworkers. He's sexting other women. So what is the straw that
For
is?
years.
Yes. What is it that's going to take for you to be like, you know what? I've had enough.
And he was doing it prior to the baby, which allows me
Yes.
to think that it is you're enjoying this.
Yeah.
there's some. I mean, there's some. Who knows what the emotional abuse was? You know?
Right.
Or is.
Where we at?
Wait, that she's stupid, nothing else to it. The home is already broken. What is she talking about? He's shown you who he is. You have to believe the actions, not the words. Yeah. Super deluxe
Absolutely.
eyelash.
Yeah, this is super deluxe
Yes.
eyelash issues.
And yeah, like
This
you
is
said.
this is Baby Hair Chronicles.
Oh Lord, not baby hair. I've never understood that stuff.
This is
You
this
grow
is,
out of that when you're 5.
Thank you.
this
I mean,
is,
so I don't.
this is
Thank you.
Baby Hair Chronicles.
Exactly. Like
That
Chuck
ain't new.
said.
That was around when I was younger.
But people still want to keep.
I know. Everything. If you live long enough, everything old is new again.
Exactly.
I'm just like, are you? Y'all were having a conversation about this?
Yeah. Because it's
How
a
is
thing.
this a thing? Okay, go ahead, baby.
But like Chuck said, he's shown you exactly the type of person that he is. He's not going to change because you've been
Yeah.
dealing with this for the whole entire 6 years. We're not even going to say, for 4 years, because you found out in year 2. So he's been doing this the entire time that you guys have been together. He's not taking you seriously. You sat here and you got a baby. There's no telling who else he's having unprotected sex with, and he's taking trips with people. He's sexting coworkers. This man is a hoe. He's a whore. A whore. Okay.
This is like old school stuff.
Yes.
This ain't, like I said, everything old is new again. It's they even had like families that live down the street from you.
Yes.
I mean, so
Exactly.
this is not.
No, ma'am, he's a whore. He's not going to change.
this
He
ain't
wants to be
changing.
out here in these streets. He's not going to do the right thing. He's not going to put a ring on your finger. And even if he did, he's still going to cheat. This is just who he is. So let it go. Take your baby, go mind your business, go live the life that you deserve, and just walk away.
Yeah.
And don't respond when this man reaches out, because he's going to reach out, because he's had you for 6 years.
Excuse me.
Playing boo boo the fool, as a safety net. Because I know I can always come back to you because you're here. You ain't going nowhere, because all I got to do is tell you we're going to have a family, and you're going to fall for it. So sis, stand up, get out, and go live your life and take care of you and your baby.
That's yourself off, huh?
That's it. That's it. Because this is crazy.
Live your life.
Like, the more and more you kept typing, the more it got crazy. Like, oh, he took a trip with one of them. Well, that's when the letter should have just fucking stopped.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she accepted this and kept right on trudging.
Yes.
So it lets me know that that's one of them, burnt legging, like the ass part of the legging just ain't clean, fuzzy
Wow.
slipper in Walmart.
Yeah, that was quite descriptive yesterday.
Because if you just go take
it was informative.
just take
and
a
it
walk
was-
in Walmart.
It was
Yeah.
It was visual.
You guys can
It was.
we can paint a picture. I
You
promise
did,
you.
and you did,
And then
and you did.
They're
Yes.
this person. I see
could
them.
get my head there for a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see them.
It had some space there for a minute.
This
'Cause I was
person.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
I see them.
okay.
hmm
Yes.
hmm
I felt you needed
Yeah.
some drops last night.
I got the wrong book bag. See, that's not the book bag that has the drops in it.
Yeah, no.
That's the problem.
I was like, oh, coach, what's going on there?
Because here's the thing with stuff like this. With stuff like this,
I was like, what's going on?
I get so tired of us in that aspect. You know what I mean? I really do. And I want better for us. And we consistently let one another down. And at some point in time, you just look at it and you just start accepting it for what it is. And you take accountability for the people that we have in our culture. But then also realize that that's not us putting our best foot forward. And this person has a look, because ignorance has a cadence, not a color. So this same person could very well be white with fuzzy slippers
Oh God.
in the tights with the ass that got burnt marks on it and all that.
Don't even.
It
oh,
could be
God.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because the more and more I deal with people in general, ignorance is a cadence. The trick is to make people think ignorance is a color, right? But it's a cadence. This is the same ignorance that you will see men do to women, no matter race, color. And this is women that'll fall into this trap thinking that they still are holding on to a man that is for them, when in actuality, he is for everybody but you.
Everyone.
And
More importantly, it's for himself.
he's for him.
I mean, he's for him.
Exactly.
So at some point in time, you have to ask yourself, is this the best that I am going to get for
Right.
me?
Right.
This is it. This is it. Fuzzy slippers in Walmart with bonnets on.
And the nigga
That's
that
it.
you arguing with,
That
because
comes
he's
down to
cheating.
self-love. That comes down to
It
loving
does.
yourself
It
and
does.
self-worth.
It
Talk to him.
does.
It's the truth. It's a self-worth. I mean, it comes down to that.
See, you're
comes down
going to
to
be
loving
our
yourself.
version of Felicia Rashad on the Breakfast Club. Talk to him.
It's the truth.
Because
It's the truth.
there.
Because if you don't have a foundation of self
Mhm,
and self-worth and define that
mhm.
and have a definition, a firm definition and boundaries
Mhm.
around that, then you will. You're gonna be a fool.
Yes.
And like my grandma said, you could be a fool, but don't be a damn fool.
Right.
And so, I'm just saying, don't be a damn fool, because we all fall for matters of the heart
Yes.
upon occasion.
Yes.
Mhm.
that'll make you do some stuff you never thought you would do.
Right.
That's okay. That's called
Mhm.
growing up.
Right.
That's called just lifing.
Yes.
That is what it is. But no, honey, no, that foolishness in that letter, because that is just some foolishness.
Absolute foolishness.
That's not love. That's
Not
not
at
his
all.
love. That's not your love.
No.
And
no.
no one deserves that type of treatment.
No.
Because that, as I said, that's disrespectful.
Yes.
And it shows that he has no respect for not only you, but he doesn't have respect for any of the other people that he's
Correct.
dealing with.
And not even
Correct.
himself.
No, because that's a whole. He's got a
Yeah.
whole different
Yes.
issue and journey.
Mm-hmm.
But her journey now has to be herself
Mhm.
and her babies
Mm-hmm.
and her child. That's it.
Pretty much.
You know. And so you need to do that. You have to, in order for self-preservation,
Mm-hmm.
because you know it's not going to go on without you.
No.
And so you have to pull back and preserve yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
Whatever that
Absolutely.
looks like. But that's a journey.
Absolutely.
But you got to pull back.
So I'm going to ask you a question
Sure.
because you've seen things.
I have.
Okay. For us as a collective, right?
Yeah.
Where do you know, you can't specifically pinpoint this, but just in general, where did things start going left to where now just the open disrespect of one another, et cetera, where did you say like it started turning right around this time
You mean just the African American community
in our culture? Yeah.
Oh. You know, growing up, I think I always had a sense of family.
Mm-hmm.
We always had a sense of family, and family it was not just your family, but it was your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It was the community that you lived in,
Mm-hmm.
and it really does take a village
Mhm.
to raise children.
Right.
And then growing up, I said even through college and high school, even after I got married, I think it started looking different.
Mm-hmm.
I think not necessarily. I know y'all. I was before the internet. I was before that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in this room is, yeah.
And I think with the adjunct of technology,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the adjunct of people moving away. I mean, you don't stay in your communities.
Mhm.
People really started traveling.
Mm-hmm.
People started having ways to get away from
Mhm.
family. Because whether you love your family or hate your family, that's your values. That's your
Right.
values. Those are the people that nurture you. Those are the people that grow you. Your community does that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start separating that, I think it starts dividing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're receptive to things that aren't true.
Right.
That aren't true.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and then you're spouted that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and you have no other place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't go back to your community. You don't foster relationships because they tell you that you can't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Agreed.
tell you that you can't do this with them. And then you get on the internet, you get online, you get on social media, and then they emphasize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then you don't. And then next thing you know is that you are just in your own little world.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's not, young people have to be taught.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped doing it. Now, one would argue that it started with the integration of schools,
Mm-hmm.
because that is a debate.
Yes.
Mhm.
That because when we had our schools, when we were segregated, we taught our children.
Mm-hmm.
Your teachers taught you. You came to school dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You came to school to learn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You came to school to be better because you knew education was going to get you out of whatever
Right.
predicament you were in.
Right.
You learned the social graces. You learned how to treat people.
Mm-hmm.
When you were growing up, that's what you
Mhm.
did. It was a social environment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, some professionals would argue that it started then.
Yeah.
That it started with integration.
Mm-hmm.
So you sound like, once again, I wish Chuck was here.
These are theories, but
Because Chuck gives the example similar to you, because he grew up in Alabama, and he said that his family always leaned on. The moment we started, the way he says, the moment we started mixing is when things went wrong.
Yikes.
You know, there are certain scholars that believe that.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not a history buff.
Mhm.
That was not my major.
Mhm.
Right.
But I'm an avid reader.
Yeah.
And that was, and that's what you learn. And that some would argue that that's when it
Mhm.
started, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Some would argue that point, that's when it started was with integration.
Yeah. And I asked that question because even when I seen, like I said, I'm joking but serious when I seen Felicia Rashad on The Breakfast Club, and she's just giving answers about what she's seen and how she has seen the change and transition just from just class and what is defining class, and how our class was defined differently than other cultures' class,
Mhm.
and how that our class set the tone for other cultures' class.
Mhm.
But then
And
it's not there like that anymore.
But and we still do, and that unfortunately that's the problem, because we're looking at people who don't have class.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's the problem.
Mhm.
And then you come up with your sexy red person that you're.
Yes.
I mean, because
Yes.
then those people are born.
Yeah.
Those people are born. They are created, right?
She said it like they were gremlins. Remember the movie Gremlins where they just
Those people are born.
And they are created, by the culture. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it is.
Mhm.
And
told
that's
you
the truth.
Sexy Red was a gremlin.
It is. These things, this is the morphing of your society.
Yes.
And because you don't,
Mhm.
you don't have any scruples. You have
Yeah.
no moral
Mhm.
concept. You have no baseline for that.
Yeah.
Not even social interactions.
Mhm.
So it makes it very difficult when you don't have those norms,
Mhm.
because this should not be your norm.
Mhm.
Right.
That behavior should not be the norm.
Yes.
Right.
And you should not settle for that.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I really do. I just think that there's pivotal moments in our history
Mhm.
that you can point to,
Mhm.
but it's cumulative, and it's fluid,
Mhm.
and it has been that way for a while.
Mhm.
With each turn of that wheel,
Yes.
it's another cycle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you see it unraveling now.
Mhm.
And it's where it stops, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, we even look at the education system.
Yes.
We're like in the toilet,
Mhm.
nationwide.
Yes.
And we're going and we're going to further,
Right.
we're going to further just plummet. But still,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's prioritized. People just I don't think have the priority that they need to, in their own self-worth.
Is this time, because you're also very active politically,
Yeah.
is this time that we're going in
Mm.
giving opportunity to possibly take it back to a larger feel of community? Because we're looking to have to depend on one another to get out of what is being set in front of us. So do you believe that this is an opportunity for us to get back on track, or it's just going to widen the division that's already in front of us even further?
I believe it can be an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it will be, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, then you would have to have a sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to have a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to have a sense of respect and self-worth
Mm-hmm.
and community.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing that I believe there's little conclaves of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're revitalizing, several African American strongholds. Like Asheville is doing that in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's historically a really thriving African American community.
Right. Right.
So they're trying to do a renaissance, if you will, of that community.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it. Black Wall Street.
Mhm.
So they're trying to revitalize that. So I think there are conclaves of communities that recognize the value in it,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said in the past that African American dollars only stay in their community. I think it's like one cycle,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they leave.
Mhm.
Where other communities, Asian, Hispanic, they circulate like 5-7 times that dollar does in that community,
Right.
which means it stays in there,
Right.
which means they buy from their own,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they purchase things, and that financial power
Mhm.
is being, and we don't necessarily do that.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't necessarily do that.
Right.
That's the thing.
So then with the gremlins that you're talking about, because I too believe that there is a generation of us that we missed the cast iron skillet days. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's people who have no idea. There was a video of a woman who threw away a cast iron skillet because she said it's too hard to clean it.
What?
You don't. What do you mean?
You don't
it?
clean it.
Yeah, like
You don't clean
but people like the
like
faces
that.
of people they cut like to a scene. And everybody's like, because she didn't know that like the cast iron skillet you don't specifically.
Are these
No.
descendants of crack?
Well, that's what see how multi-layered this is because she could have been.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know. I just know that at some point
We
in
don't
time
typically have conversations around that. We should,
that
because
people are crack babies.
these are descendants of crack.
See?
Like I'm just saying,
I'm
we're
not
not
saying
gonna
it's
act
not.
like that just fucking disappeared. No, that there's some psychological and issues going on here.
Oh, absolutely.
I
You know?
agree.
It's a-
You know
well,
I agree.
Because
Because Jonathan Majors, all that
Oh.
shit he does,
no.
psychological. Check his mom. Let's see
Are
where
you-
the tree is and
Are
see where the
you
apple fell.
stating that his mom may have been on crack?
Let's see where the tree is and see how far the apple fell. That's all I'm asking. That's how I address the
You
kids.
gonna leave that man
I
alone.
just want to meet the tree to see
Uh-huh.
how far you as the apple fell.
Well,
Usually it's not too far. I'm just saying.
Okay. Because I don't know his mother either.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
he
I'm
don't-
like, that woman could have been a scholar. And you're like, you're
Yes.
crack.
I didn't call her a crackhead. I just
you're trying to you're
just saying that, like you said, we get these values from people who were around us to help raise us.
absolutely.
So when you start exemplifying some of these behaviors, and then you meet a parent, you're like, there it is.
And
It's just the way-
and
sometimes it's just the way young mothers trying to raise children,
And fathers that are
Yeah.
just, yeah.
and sometimes and a lot of
'Cause some
times
of them
fathers
guys-
that are not there.
Yeah.
and I'll have Jonathan Majors went to Yale school. He went to Yale, so leave him alone.
Well, now, that doesn't mean anything.
that was-
I'm not trying to diss on Yale. I'm just saying that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Thank you.
Um,
She got it out before I could. 'Cause-
I'm trying to figure out where his parents may have been from.
So,
but-
I mean,
you're trying to figure out what went wrong,
yeah.
where it went wrong,
Where it went
and
wrong.
you can't do that.
Yeah. Because that's where I'm saying, like, what do we do? Like, for example, we had the whole boycott on all the stores, the DEI and all that nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And just a few weeks later, these same people are now out celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
oh,
We just look like complete idiots. Like, I don't like that. Like, what is the message here? And I mean, I think I don't know about you, but sometimes I be feeling cheated because you guys got a chance to experience when Black people said we are going to get our shit together.
Yes, we
And
are.
this is how we're going to move.
Yeah.
We got entitled people that think they got their shit together and we're just missing the mark. We just keep missing. It's like throwing to a dartboard with our damn eyes closed. Yay, we're going to protest. All right, let's protest. But I'm going out for St. Patty's Day on Saturday.
yeah, I don't know about
You
that
know,
because that's
it's-
crazy.
Yeah, well, it's your generation.
Yes, it is.
It is. It's a generational culture. It's a generational thing because you haven't had to really.
Mom's.
No.
You don't think
Okay.
it's a generational?
No,
thing?
I'm talking
Oh.
because I know where he was going. No, the mom was a pastor, and dad was
He's a
in
PK?
yeah, and
Makes a lot of
and
sense.
dad was in the Air Force, and he lived in Santa Barbara County in California.
Okay.
But where they grew up, he said he had a difficult childhood growing up with drug dealers and murderers for neighbors who wore ankle monitors and were released from prison. And, so they said that he was arrested for shoplifting and suspended from high school for fighting and lived in his car while working 2 jobs after being kicked out of his house.
But he still made it to Yale.
Yeah.
Okay. There goes the girl. That's why.
Now he got his bachelor's from UNC, and then later he attended Yale School of Drama, where he got a master's of fine arts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that also makes sense of why he threw who he was throwing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's logical.
it all. See what I'm saying? You just do a little research, and then you be like, there it is. And now we know. And so now that whole Megan Good thing is a farce. Because nowhere in that story does it say Megan Good.
Well, I think with him, like I told you, he was someone where you probably got teased and, people weren't looking at you, because when we seen the picture of what Jonathan Majors used to look like, he didn't always have that body. So people weren't really paying you much mind. And then now that you got to a point where it's like you can be seen as handsome and you got a nice body, you can get a certain type of woman now, where you weren't getting that before. So that's why he's smitten with Megan, because you weren't getting Megan before.
You say who said he's handsome?
I'm just wondering. I mean, he may be talented, but I mean,
I'm not saying he's handsome, but considered from other women, they're like, oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. So he's like one of those gentlemen that you got to get to know him first before they're cute.
I guess so. I mean, but some of the women that when he came out in Creed, it was like, oh my God, Jonathan Majors is this. And I'm like,
I didn't see that. I did not see that.
No.
I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I did not see
and
that.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Creed. It was, what was the show he was on?
Lovecraft Country. That was the first time.
Yeah. Again,
but
I did not see that.
To consider him like a heartthrob, no. And that's why I think he's so smitten of like, I got Megan Good, because Megan Good was the it girl.
Well,
it's very difficult for very attractive women, for pretty women, to date anyway.
Hello.
It is. It's very difficult for them to date. And that's why you see like really attractive women with like average looking guys. Because that's how that works. Only because it's very difficult for them to date. I'm trying. You know what? I'm just being real with y'all. I don't know why.
And I love it.
I don't know why in the world.
I love it.
I mean,
I do.
But it's true.
This is life,
true,
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm glad someone's saying it.
It is very true.
I'm glad somebody's saying it.
Who is over the age of like 40 understands what I'm saying.
Yeah,
this is
true.
Life. Yeah. Because that's the way it is. Because Megan would never have been like at a club or social event and said, "Ooh, yeah, I want him." She would have never. No. Let's be honest. She would have never done that
because she had her pickings.
She would have never done that.
No.
That's pretty why he's cheesing so hard.
Yeah, he's trying to please. I mean, Halle said the same thing. Halle Berry. She talked about the fact that she had a very difficult time dating.
And then the one guy that actually was, attractive, cheated on her.
Absolutely, yeah. Because they have that problem. I mean, well, everybody has that problem. You never date someone that spends more time in the mirror than you do. You just don't do it. That's like a rule. I mean, where do y'all not? Do y'all not know the rules?
Of course, I do.
Etiquette.
I just love when people say it.
You can never. You don't date a man that number one is cuter than you are.
Oh, right.
And number two spends more time in the mirror than you do.
Exactly.
Those are like two telltale signs.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
No.
What are you talking about here?
Because we battling it out. Like
no, we're not even battling out because one of us is leaving, and I don't know if it's you. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be me. I'm leaving. Just as soon as you start doing the
primping.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is there a difference between primping and self-care when it comes to men?
Hell yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right. What's the difference?
Yes. You can answer that, Coach, but I know.
So when you start seeing like you have a manicured hand, like, okay, my nails are cut, down.
Mm-hmm.
When you start seeing men that put gloss on their nails,
Okay.
why do you need gloss on your
Right. Right.
What are you
right.
doing?
Right. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a skin care routine, right?
Mhm.
You're supposed to
Yes.
for healthy skin.
Yes.
But then when you see men who are touching up areas versus this is just me,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's when we start having a problem.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because you wouldn't do that in a room full of guys. Somebody's like, yo, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like when you start touching up,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with being detail oriented, but fine tooth comb
Mm-hmm.
is when you got a problem.
Okay.
I believe
Mhm.
that.
Like detail oriented is what you want. Make sure you're right. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that as a guy,
Mhm.
there's like you said, there's rules. So
Mhm.
there's certain rules that you
There's
got to have,
rules.
especially when you're in a zone where you're going out and you have to be, you're representing not just yourself, but you're representing your lady. Now
Mhm.
you're going to work, you're going to the gym. I'm going
Mhm.
out, I'm going. But when we're stepping out, there's details that you got to have on point.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also know as a man, it's not my job to outshine my woman.
Absolutely.
She's the show.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I am
You're the
here.
compliment.
Yeah, you're a compliment.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's the show.
Uh-huh.
And guys that come out and they want to be the show,
Yeah.
that's where you have a problem.
Okay.
A big one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that known, because
But
some
that's
people
just
may.
me. There's,
No, I'm
there's a
just
lot
saying.
of guys that feel like they're the show.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, some people may say, like, okay, well, self-care is equivalent to primping, but it's like, if there's a difference, then what's the difference?
no. You can go get your toe, you get a pedicure,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but you ain't talking about what color you want on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And now guys are painting their nails.
Yes,
This is the
they are.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for saying that you shouldn't do it, you're chastised for that. And I'm trying to tell you, I literally said, I don't know why men are painting their nails. What do you mean? Why can't we? Whoa.
But what's the reasoning for doing it?
Because why can't we? There is no reason. Because why can't we?
So what are you trying to convey?
It's fashion. That's what they tell you. Anything that is questionable, we'll use that word, is fashion.
What makes it fashion?
Because somebody else has done it who has been told that it's fashionable. So, for example, the kid at Duke who painted his nails
Yeah.
and took pictures.
He got an
with his
endorsement
nail-
deal. Mm-hmm.
Fashionable. So then now what do you see other men and boys doing?
What was his reasoning?
Fashion. Like that was just his expression.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So now he has blue and he has
But he also has money.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
because you can. I think and I think that's the
that's
thing
the
with
problem.
younger people, because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just doesn't. And then I think that the lines are blurred. This is my personal opinion.
Mhm.
I feel the lines are blurred,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't. I think there has to be some lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to be defined as a culture, because
Yes.
I was having a minor in philosophy, so I will do this. Because you
Yeah.
have to, as a society, you ask certain questions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the and you're defined by the consensus
Mhm.
of a community,
Mhm.
hence laws.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I feel that even in the realm of etiquette and moral and morality
Mhm.
and things of that nature, those are questions you have to answer. What is just? What is righteous? What is what is beauty?
Mm-hmm.
What is defined? Just
Mhm.
theoretical concepts, and then you have to sit down and you have to think. Yeah, what defines like a man?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What defines a man?
Mhm.
Because if you're defining a man, then society, as you can see now, I mean, there's a backlash against LGBTQ
Mhm.
plus people. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That is why. Because you're trying to redefine
Mm-hmm.
social norms that the society as a whole have already defined.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem.
Mhm.
And then and then becomes outcast. And then, this group is saying, no, I get to be who I want to be when I want to be it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to express that. Society is like, yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. But now you're bumping up against my norms,
Mm-hmm.
the society's norms.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, I'm not cool with that.
And
So
now
then-
it's war.
Yeah, and now it's war.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's the underlying problem, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't think people have a problem as a society with LGBTQ or what norm trendings or whatever it is. I don't think as a society. I think that you have guards and you have buffers for that.
Mhm.
I think it's when you want to just try to slam through that.
Mhm.
And no, and society has already defined social norms,
Mhm.
and that's when it becomes a problem.
I
Mhm.
agree. I agree.
That's when it becomes a problem.
Because that's what we're experiencing.
Yeah, and that's what we're experiencing. That's what
'Cause
we are
it's a lot
experiencing
of
throughout.
gray. And that's the problem.
When society has already defined them, and to them it's not gray.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To them, they don't want to change the color code.
Correct.
It's going to either be white or black.
Right.
Mhm.
But they don't want to deal in gray.
Right.
And I think that's what it. And younger people are like, yeah. Not only do I
Oh,
want to deal
man.
in gray,
Yeah.
I want the whole color spectrum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And and unfortunately there's more older people than there is younger people.
Mhm. Right.
Don't get me wrong. You'll outlive us.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then you will be able to change the norms and the boundaries. But that is what you're seeing.
Mhm.
But then with changing the norms and the boundaries, there still has to be some type of guidelines, or it's just free fall, just where everybody's just doing what everybody wants to do no matter what.
Yeah.
How is
Correct.
that sustainable? You know what I mean?
No,
And
it's
that's
not.
that's what I try to tell these young cats. Like eventually, like I told them about, like right now inside of school, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. School districts don't want to get sued.
Mhm.
There's lines as far as the teachers of what you can even say or express in academia. So the kids got like almost free reign.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're just hoping they come and do the right thing.
Mhm.
But that's why they're amongst those walls. And I just had this talk with a crew of young brothers today. Once you graduate out of that and the safety net is off,
Mhm.
it doesn't exist like that anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
And that's where I think like a lot of this, I'm not soapboxing, but this is where a lot of the conversations with I think men, we don't express it enough, or we don't know how to express it enough. When people talk about the seat at the table, when you sit at this table to talk about change and talk about different things that you would like to implement, you have to have a certain conversation skill set to be able to get people to listen to you. It ain't just because I said so. We don't control enough to say because I
Right.
said so, right? And I have to consistently remind younger people, you gotta earn your stripes a little bit before you just say you want to just uproot something.
Mhm.
At least understand what you're uprooting and why. There is none of that. It's just how I feel at the moment, change it. And it's like, oh no.
Because they haven't been taught to have conversations.
No.
No, they have not.
And
Mm-mm.
I'm glad you said that, because I've had an argument, and maybe he's watching, not an argument, but a strong discussion. Gentleman said, I want to make these kids leaders. How do I do that? How do I find the leader amongst these kids? And the first thing I told him was, well, who's teaching them how to be a leader? The way you're going to find the leader is by the person who's leading them, because that person is going to get kids to either get on board or not. And if you're leading them a certain direction by the person who's at the top, you'll see who emerges out of it. But you can't just say, I want you kids to be leaders. What are they basing that off of?
Right.
What information are you giving them to say, this is how I need to be a leader?
it can be learned.
Mhm.
It can be a learned behavior, but it has to be nurtured and cultivated.
And somebody has to
Somebody
nurture
has
it.
to, yeah. And you have to develop
Yeah.
that. Because there are people that aren't leaders, but they still can learn the traits that are needed.
Yes.
And then they can make a choice whether they wish to be a leader or not.
There we go. At least give them the seeds so
Mhm.
that they can decide, okay, this is how I want to move, or this. But if you just say be a leader, well, how the hell do I do that? And where do I get the reference point?
They won't, and they won't be.
Yeah.
They won't be.
Yes.
And that's the thing is that, and that used to be because well, when I was in school, you had leadership development
Yes.
classes.
Very much. So.
And I'm sure they don't have that now.
No.
But you did. You had leadership development class.
Mhm.
When I went to college, the president of our university, he taught leadership development. That was a core curriculum before you could graduate. But then again, so was you also had to do a semester of community service, and it was a semester like in class, understanding what community service truly meant.
Yep.
And how to implement that, and how to be a good person
Yes.
in this society, which I don't think they don't teach that now.
No.
I went to Incarnate Word, so shout out to Incarnate Word because they still do that. Yes, because that's why it took you longer to graduate, because you had a
You had to do some work.
Yeah, you had a year of community service, understanding what leadership means, and you had to honestly do. I want to say it was like a month and a half of community service. I think it was like 70, 80 hours that you had to get completed in a year. But you actually did have to go to class. There was actually discussions in your classes. There was actually it was outreach, and they did a lot of outreach. That's what you did, because they were trying to build a better person,
Right.
Yes.
to be out in society. That's just like you had to take like a year of philosophy or religion, because it was a Catholic school. So you had to do either take a year of philosophy, and you had to take, or a year of religion. You had to take a year of fine arts, of liberal arts. It could be performing arts. It could be, it could be whatever it needed to be.
Yes.
But you had to do them,
Right.
because they felt like it made you a better person
Yes.
to go out into the world and contribute something.
Right.
Because we should not all be on the planet consuming and not giving,
Right.
There we go.
and not be a productive part of society.
And you know what's funny? That's something that our mom would always
Yeah, I
say.
went
Like,
to
I wanted to raise productive members of society when it came to, being
Yeah.
them. Like, she said that all the time. Like,
That was the nice way of saying it.
yeah.
I ain't raising no ain't shit niggas.
That's
Pretty
right.
much.
That's right.
Pretty much.
The way
Yeah.
she broke it down to
Good-
me,
good
that
for
was what
nothing.
she would say to others when she look. Get your shit together, because I'm not raising no ain't shit niggas. Y'all gonna be able to do something out here.
Yeah.
And
No trifling, good for nothing folks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
know.
Because you're
I
a
know,
direct
trifling.
reflection.
Yeah, I
You
said
know?
it.
trifling.
Trifling.
She was
Yeah.
saying
Trifling.
that you're because you that's what she would say, because you represent me.
Yeah,
Damn
you're a
it.
direct reflection of me.
You ain't gonna be on these streets looking and
represent your
acting
family.
crazy. What the hell you doing?
You represent your family.
Mhm.
You can't do that.
No. Mm-mm.
And we got beatings from everybody, like in your community. I wish you would act a fool, because they were gonna call call my grandma, and then you were gonna get subsequent ass down the street. So you were already crying by the time you got home.
Yeah. I just feel like right now that's what they're missing.
Yeah, that is what they're
They're
missing.
missing. And I literally said it to them, like, y'all just missing a foot in the ass. Once you
Yeah.
get one of them, you'll be straight.
Mhm.
And it because it helps you decipher your choices.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A
it
little-
makes it clarifies some stuff for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it gives you
A
clarity.
good ass whooping will cause you
Yeah.
to be like,
It gives you
just
clarity.
maybe
Oh yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Right.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But I just, like I said, and the reason why I asked the questions is
No.
because when we're dealing with just mental health
Yeah.
and things coming down the pipeline for TDS and even for the healing consultant, when we're
Mhm.
talking with people outside in the community, it's like, what is going to help us change what we're seeing? Because we're clearly seeing an agenda. Anybody who didn't believe it before, I'm sure you probably can believe it now. But I do feel as though there's some good enough in people. There's some good in people that we can change it if we're cognizant of the opportunity. This is an opportunity for change. But it's not going to come from up top. It's going to come from old school style grassroots.
Absolutely. That's a true statement.
Mhm.
But in certain communities, that's the only choice you had, because you weren't privy to federal funded things.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have access to that. it has only been in recent, times that you didn't have like your local grocery store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you could always go, down, like for us, it was Bud Duke's down the street. But you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't have that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if now people will ever, I don't know if they're going to get back to that, because I think they have to make a conscious effort to do so.
Mm-hmm. And
not everyone is making that conscious effort to do so.
Right.
But it has to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And
definitely
it's built.
Stop playing games. Yeah.
It's built in love for yourself, and you have to want it. You have to want to do that. You have to want to build a sense of community.
So now let me ask you this. How do we tie in the products into building community and intentionality?
Well,
drop some fuck these niggas.
Wow. All right. So that's today's show. And
that's a note. Okay. Well, okay. So I believe
that's my advice to y'all.
But I'm gonna put some positive out there, because I am the healing consultant.
Because I hear what y'all saying. Fuck all that. Take your stripes.
Yes.
And self-preserve.
And watch Netflix and just leave me the hell alone.
Self-love. Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
And you can't.
You can't do it. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You can't. And even when your cup is full, keep it full. Okay.
Yes. You got to fill yourself up first before you can pour into anybody or
y'all
any
can't
community.
tell, I am tired of people this week.
I am
As
too.
you see, Kim has not taken the therapeutic dose of drops this afternoon or this later on this afternoon. We will have this conversation when this is over. However, ladies and gentlemen,
once again, same parent, totally different kids. Because I'm like, no, we have to keep doing it. And she's like, I'm going home. Click.
Fuck these
cut on Netflix.
People.
I'm out there tearing shirts off. Like, we gotta save everybody.
People will drive you crazy, and before you know it, your damn blood pressure is up.
182 over 101.
Listen,
you
can't sleep.
You've got to learn when to know when to pull back.
Yes. Take your cape off. My advice to y'all: take your cape off and preserve it for yourself, and only in emergency cases, because we are going to have to, like you said, we're going to have to live in our community, but you also are going to need time for yourself.
Well, when you say the cape, I saw this little gentleman. He was like, all of you, put your capes in the closet.
Please.
The only marching in front line I want to see you on is at a conga line on a voyage.
I know that's
the only time I want to see you in front of a line.
Hello. And when you do boots on the ground, where them fans at? That's the only time.
That's the only time I want to see you women up in the front of the line.
Because you can
are
help
doing
a
a line
person
dance on a cruise.
But baby, if you are met with a bunch of resistance, fuck them. Okay.
Self-love. That is what we are promoting. Is that because you've got to take the time. You've got to take the time because you won't be ready for this.
No,
you won't be ready for any of the jelly coming your way.
No, because it's going to be a lot.
You got to get right. Yes,
it's going to be a lot. And even with dealing with the kids, like if you don't have yourself together, then there's no way you'll be able to pour into them.
Yes. Try your darndest to set up a routine. Don't get me wrong. You've got to be ready for it. You've got to be ready for change in your life, because it's happening whether you like it or not. And
exactly.
It is. It's happening. It's happening in front of you. It is happening in real time. So de-stress.
Please.
De-stress. Because, honey, you're in it for the long haul.
Ooh.
You're in it for the long haul.
Ooh.
And, and that's what I'm talking about. Bring it down a notch. Get your drops on board. Them all this aching knees, joints, honey, from you running from whatever you're running from. Because, honey, that little lady needs to be running from him, but that's a whole different other story.
Hello.
We've already discussed that. Yes.
Yes.
Rest and relax, honey, with some oil and lotion at the end of your day, honey.
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta gear it down.
Yes.
You gotta gear it down.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong. If you want to get healthy and you're on that health track and you're in the gym, you're doing this stuff, honey, get some roll on. Get some roll on. Do that too. But you've got to take care of yourself, because pull back. I say this. You need to pull back right now because a lot of stuff is coming at you.
A lot.
Every day.
A lot.
Every day is coming at you. It's coming at you. It's coming at you. I
And-
know it's only been 2.5 months, but it feels like 2.5 years.
Exactly. And do yourself a favor. Unplug from your phones and from the
Absolutely.
news because
I
it
did
will
that
just give
over
you
the
that gloom and
weekend.
doom.
Yes.
And
Don't pick up a phone.
gotta admit, so from Friday to Saturday, or I'm sorry, Friday to Sunday, actually Monday when I came back from the men's conference, when I cut my phone on. It was on, but it was on do not disturb. And the moment I went from do not disturb to on, it was just like, it was an overload of information and the phone bzz, 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 bzz. I'm like, I just wanted to go back.
That's why on Mondays, that's the time that most heart attacks are on a Monday morning.
Really?
Yes.
That makes
that's a
perfect
fact.
sense.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was there.
Oh yeah.
As soon as that phone, bzz, 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 I'm like,
Monday
Lord
mornings.
Jesus.
Monday mornings because you're back in the grind
Yeah.
and the stress level goes up.
Yep.
Which is why you need to on the weekend, honey, get loaded up.
Hello.
Get loaded up. So when Monday comes, it ain't hitting you like a ton of bricks. I'm telling you. Work. No, because my weekend, I didn't cut my phone on either. I was watching NCAA basketball.
I know that's right.
I'm a huge college basketball fan.
I know that's right.
And I mean, I was up all
And
night.
enjoying your
Yeah.
time.
And enjoying my time.
You know? That's
Absolutely.
a whole other topic to talk about, but we not gonna
But
extend it.
enjoying your time?
Yes, because you
Yes.
know, and I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
If more people learned how to be by themselves and enjoy their own company, one or two things would happen. Either you realize just how fucking terrible you are as a person, or you will realize, like, you know what? There's certain things that I'm not going to put up with, or I might need a little extra help. But people don't spend enough time with themselves to learn themselves. But you want to jump out here and think that everybody's supposed to accept you for all the horrible person that you are without any of the work. People aren't doing that anymore. Go get help.
Yes. You
Go
just
get
need
help.
just time for self-discovery.
Yes. Self-discovery. Get yourself together. Figure out who you are, your likes, your dislikes, and you know
Yes.
what your icks are, or what things that you might be actually putting out there in the universe. And then, you know, just be like, let me get some work and, you know, do some things before I end up on Kim's nightmare dating profiles, hooting and hollering and yelling, talking about, let me see your titties. You know,
Yeah.
get your shit together.
I don't understand. So I don't understand how any self-respecting person would do some of this to do this foolishness and tomfoolery y'all got going on
on TV.
Well, they have a look.
That's a whole different other topic. Because
usually it comes
I really
with baby
feel that
hair,
a lot of them,
bad leggings,
bad beards.
Again,
bad beards.
There's a lot going on with that picture.
Possibly jail time.
But I'm gonna be back.
But I'll be right back with you. Just hold tight.
I don't know what one would do with that information.
It's
except
crazy.
to just leave it where it is.
Yes.
Because that's all you can do with that. And you know, and part of me just really feels sorry for these young people.
That's my problem. See,
I
the
just really feel
compassion
sorry.
that I have is like, I feel bad for y'all because there's
I
a whole portion of life that they're just missing out on because they just are not tapped into anything but themselves.
Because they don't know any better. See, that's just it. Like Dr. Andrews said, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And they just don't know.
Like even just their style of clothing. You wear a
I know.
hoodie every day.
I know.
That's all you got. That's your only variety of clothing is a
We don't-
hoodie
Yeah.
every day.
We don't even want to put on like, I don't know, like a shirt. You know, just wear a button down. Can we just
Pajama
wear a
pants.
button down with, I don't know, like a collar?
Every
Can that
day.
just not be all graphic tees all the time? I mean, can we just not act like we're freaking 10? You know?
And grown
All the
men with
time.
really little jeans on. I don't understand that.
Because that's
Yes.
not built for every person.
No,
Not every person should wear that. It's just
I don't
it's a
understand.
fashion poo-paw. I mean, not everyone should do that.
No.
No, just like not everyone should wear hoodies. Because if you've got like a little small pea head, you get lost.
And it looks crazy.
Your head gets lost in that. And no, your personality will not shine at all.
Everybody just wearing crazy Crocs. You were just I'm just gonna wear
Yeah.
Crocs all the time. I tell the
Mhm.
football players, guys, you're not supposed to wear Crocs all the time. Like not all the time. Get a
Don't even know what some dress shoes are, do
get a
they?
pair of shoes. No,
No,
no.
because there is just something really incredibly sexy young people.
Oh yeah.
You know, with
yes.
some like nice jeans and
Oh.
and some dress shoes and just a really nice shirt.
Oh
and
my
just, you know,
goodness.
you know, got
And
that
then
nice scent
smell
that-
good.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say that nice scent that
Oh.
know, not enough to knock you over, but just you
Mhm.
know when if they just
It
pass, it's
walks.
just a little,
Yes.
just a little
Mhm.
like 5 seconds of it to make
Mhm.
you go, huh?
So first we got it. Well, we talked about this on TV. We gotta get people to wash first before we even get there.
See, I didn't know
You
that
know?
I really did not understand that was actually a topic for
Yeah.
conversation.
That's the thing. We gotta crawl before we can walk. Let's start with a
I was
shower.
completely unaware
Let's just
of
get
that.
you some Dove soap and a
I was
rag.
completely
Right.
unaware
Start
of that.
there.
You know, and
Yeah.
then we gotta wash everything because people talking
Absolutely.
about they don't wash the legs, which I'm like, how do you wash down under but you don't touch your legs? Crazy. You know.
I know people who just let soap run to their feet and say that was them washing their
Crazy.
feet.
Okay.
Then you got people who don't know the importance of exfoliating, and getting the dead skin
Yes.
off of you
At
and
least do that once a week.
moisturizing, and then we gotta talk
Just
about good
pick a
sleep.
day.
You know,
Yes, pick a day in the week, ladies and gentlemen, that you exfoliate, that you put your mask on, that you do a deep cleanse, and you do a deep calming massage, honey. Rub it down. At least pick one day of the week, honey, where you take care of yourself. Where you take care of yourself. Let me repeat that. When you take care of yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, honey. It's a necessity. It is not a luxury. It's a necessity.
hello.
Come on, do it. You can do it.
Don't be out here like Trick Daddy
Come on
who's
over
been
to the other
hollering
side. Come on over to the other
because he
side.
pissed me off.
Clearly.
He gonna be 51 talking about I want a 22 to 35-year-old. No, you want a nurse, sir. You are one step away from being on dialysis. What you gonna do with a 22-year-old?
One step.
Hello,
I mean,
that too.
No, that's
Technically 3 years from
Yeah.
being a pedophile.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Which
And
means
you
can
think that
probably
this is
which means you can
acceptable.
probably hold a cabinet spot in our current administration.
Hello?
Apparently, that's the only qualification you need to have.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
No.
digress. Let's put this on a positive note, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry. I
Self-care.
digress. Self.
Yes,
Self-care.
take care of
Care.
yourself.
Yes. You got to take care of
It's
yourself
gonna be
before you take
okay.
care of others.
Like-
oh God, it's gonna be okay. Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. Got a text message. I can't wait to tell you this one. Off air. Huh?
Uh-oh.
No, nothing bad. Nothing bad. It's
Alright.
it's good. It's good. So
Mhm.
tomorrow, what do we got going on tomorrow?
We got a lot.
We do? Oh, shit.
Well, our sexy educator's back in the building.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? This might be a good time because she's bringing some teens in. So
Teens?
yes. She is.
Speaking some what?
What are they talking about?
Just how they view relationships, their relationships with their parents, and even their understanding of sex.
Oh,
Mm,
Yeah.
that's gonna be interesting.
Yep.
Teens.
High schoolers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that should be interesting. Their take on
Yes.
sex.
Yes.
She got written permission to do this with these kids.
Hey.
I won't be on screen talking about no sex
Hey.
with kids.
That's gonna be interesting.
Hey.
That's
That
gonna be
could get me in
interesting.
trouble.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting.
Because those conversations you can't even have in school.
No, gone are the times you had sex education in class.
Yeah,
She
that's
said she
dead.
got
That's dead.
consent.
That's
She
dead.
said she got consent. So that's
Okay.
the thing.
Right,
All
well,
right. As long as she got
Mhm.
consent by the parents.
that's
Mhm.
gonna be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have one of those. Put one of them emoji faces over me when she starts that.
That is, yeah, that's
Because
high schoolers.
I'll
Yeah.
keep my comment to myself.
you got to be careful with that.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to get to dating profiles, but I promise you guys, I
Unless
have
we
a
start
doozy.
with it.
I mean, we can. You know.
We can start with it. People like to see that nonsense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have when I tell you I have some nonsense this go round. I had to check to see if these were actual factual, and they were.
I
Yeah.
ask that question every time you do it.
They're very real, very real. None of these are
That's
fabricated.
terrible.
How can you
None.
even expect to get anyone to even speak to you?
That's terrible, man.
Someone
this,
is saying yes.
this shows you how far we have
Mhm.
fallen.
Yes. Someone is saying yes. but wait
Someone is saying yes.
until you see what I have for you guys. So
Oh.
yes,
All right.
nightmare dating profiles
Intriguing.
coming at you. And once again, these are all very real profiles.
Mm.
So
Alrighty.
we'll see you guys
We'll see you tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Peace.